this love.
Hello, what is happening on this beautiful Monday evening? Oh my god. Okay, so, God, a lot of shit has happened with the Lego stuff, dude. I'm not even gonna lie. Honestly, you might have seen that I just changed the title of stream. It's because I've been been master debating on what I'm going to basically be doing for this entire thing. Okay, because the easy thing to do would be to sit here and watch the CoffeeZilla video, but 2 streams, 2 days in a row. I'm usually always, what's today? Tuesday? Yeah, I'm off today. I'm off. Honestly, I'm not gonna get into it. Well, I'm in a good mood. This will make me mad. I don't want to talk about it. All right, but yes, I am alive again. Yeah. Anyway, I was like debating whether or not I would, right? So I go to the gym and yada yada yada. And I was like, I'm not gonna cover this guy. This guy's shifty. We don't like Scott Shifty here. Shifty Schaefer made a video on Reckless Ben. Bad guy. We don't like him. So I figured, yeah, you know what? I could talk about the CoffeeZilla video. I might go do that. But most of you watch Cope and Seethe. I'm not going to say. You know, I don't want to retread ground between me and my husband. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Depends where this stream goes, really. You know, I don't know, man. Playing it by ear a little bit. But I figured, you know, before we get to that, we could talk about Shifty Schaefer. All right. I'm going to tell you about a guy. All right. This guy, I don't like him. I don't like him. Not a fan. Another one. Has the situation made you think suspiciously of resale shops? I mean, yes and no. Because, like, I don't know. There's a lot there, right? Because I think about, like, what we do as, like, a business. But then I also think about how they run their business. And I'm just like, how did these guys... Like, how do you do this? How do you reach multi-million-dollar status and do these weird things and not have all of these ducks in a row, you know? Because we're obviously very tiny. And it's really easy to like procedures are difficult, but it makes a difference to have them, you know what I mean? So it's just very strange that there's like 3 different books and all of this other stuff there, right? So there is like interesting stuff there that I guess I could comment on with the CoffeeZilla video. But I did kind of want to start today by talking about some side plots that are going on in the Lego drama. Okay. Right, I want to talk about some side plots. So there has been, of course, the suspicious behavior for the American Fork Police Department, of which we became familiar with during the time of us learning about their training during the racial retribution of Black Lives Matter. Okay, and we learned about how pretty much they are a shoot first, ask questions later kind of department. Since that time, there's a town hall meeting as well. And in that town hall meeting, in that town hall meeting, you know, it really did seem like the town was on the side of Ben, and it seems like this Mormon theocratic local government is a problem. Not surprising. Turns out Mormons are a problem. I mean, I have been saying that. That is true, you know. But not good. Not good. All this over Legos, by the way. Fucking Legos. Well, that's another thing, right? I'm cooking up a video for MPT. And the video is about the collectibles market, okay? And I think that this is a sign that we are all probably going to be living through. This is not financial advice, just my thoughts, okay? Okay, just my thought. I hope it's not true because I really would like to like have a real life and not worry about like the copious amounts of bills, okay? Still feel like I haven't been able to start it, but you know, we move. You know, when we look at speculative crazes in the past, like the eponymous tulip craze, you know, we see a lot of these kind of like speculative collectibles markets. Okay. And if you're familiar with your high school history, before the collapse of the stock market that led to the Great Depression were these crazes, right? Well, it was the tulip craze, right? The tulip craze is the big one. But a lot of folks were speculating on a lot of less than reasonable assets before the entire economy basically imploded. And I do see a lot of that same kind of energy in collectibles. Legos are collectible. I do think a lot of people that are in the Lego collectors world don't there's a lot of people that collect Legos to resell Legos at a profit later. There are also people who are really passionate about Legos. However, I worry about the growing number of investors in many collectibles markets that seem to move where the wind takes them. We had the NFT craze. Pokemon cards are crazy work now. Logan Paul is trying to make it happen with Yu-Gi-Oh! Which, by the way, Yu-Gi-Oh! Reprints a lot of their old cards. It's not really that exciting to pull an Exodia from what I hear. So that's lame. But yeah, there's a lot of these collectibles markets, shoes, sneakers, sneakerheads. I saw a funny sneakerhead post where a guy finally put on a pair of like sneakers that he had collected many years ago. And apparently if you don't wear like the sneakers disintegrated when he went to go put them on. They were like in a box forever, and he goes to put them on, and they just literally turned into like rubber dust. Shoes, retro games. Retro games is another one. Yeah, retro games is totally another one. Retro games are bad too. They're really fucking expensive. It's actually kind of disgusting, honestly. It's crazy that a lot of my PS2 games now cost more now than they did back then, you know? But take a little sippy sip of my drink. Some of the outsoles are made of certain foam when exposed to UV light slowly begin to disintegrate. You have to keep them in a place without light. Well, I didn't realize that there was a genre of posts where like sneakerhead guys finally put on one of their shoes and it turns into like little crumbled to dust, you know, which is fucking hilarious. Dude, I was astounded, right? Because I have a homie who owns a copy of Chibi Robo for the GameCube, and it is outrageously too expensive for no reason. What was another one? I have a friend, and I don't think he even gives a shit or knows where it is now. And I'm mad that I just wasn't a bad I'm mad I wasn't a bad friend when we were 10 years old. He had one of those GameCube like it was a collector's disc for Ocarina of Time that had multiple versions of Legend of Zelda on it, which is also like one game disc that I know is worth a lot now. So there's a lot of stuff like that where I'm like, fuck. But that's like with a lot of things. And I don't think Lego is any different from a lot of what I'm seeing. Ultimately, the point of all this to say is, as we got off topic, is that I worry about what this means in the long game. You know what I mean? If I can beat the S&P 500 by selling Pokemon cards, what does that mean? And also, what does that mean for like the economy writ large and all of these people getting into investments? Is that bad? What's that mean in the long term, right? How's that going to impact the long term? All these new retail investors, okay? You know, last time we streamed, I don't think Elon Musk was a trillionaire, maybe. I don't remember when the IPO came out for SpaceX, but you know, there's a lot of people that are buying in, hoping, you know, SpaceX is going to go to the moon, you know? Dude, I look up my old dolls once in a while and cry because, like, what do you mean some of my dolls are now worth money? There's a lot of stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff. It's kind of, and it's also, like, really strange because all of these systems are kind of, like, incentivizing you turning whatever hobby you have into, like, a financialized, like, hustle. It's really bad for cards because cards have, like, a really robust market. So you could actually see how much all that shit's worth versus how much you think it's worth versus everything else. And you could see the history of trades. It's really crazy. Ugh. Resale was also a huge thing for GPUs during the Ethereum mining in 2021. Then again, now RAM is being hoarded. So are GPUs though too. RAM and GPUs. If Nvidia had its way, they'd be just serving corporate customers, man. They need the compute for all the AI. How am I gonna make fruit cuck porn for white men in Idaho unless I use up fucking 400 metric tons of water? They told us Beanie Babies would be worth a ton. I don't know how close Beanie Babies were to the Great Recession, but is there a this might be like a correlation causation thing, but does the Beanie Babies at the turn of the century indicate the Great Recession post hoc? Is that how that works? Somebody get an economist on the line. I need to ask somebody with a really boring job about this. Diesel, did you see Demi got accused of fucking on stream? Wait, no, you brought up a really good aside, dude. I'll get to Scott in a minute. Okay? So, all right. Does anybody have the tweets about this on hand? Please put it in the server. Do not post this girl getting railed, please. Please, please, please. But, okay, so let me back it up a second. So we all know about Cheapy Reviews, right? General Cuckmaster. Okay, anyway, now he's friends with Rape Tone, also known as Tech Tone. But from what I heard about the story, right? I might be, I'm truncating this, and this is like something I got through cultural osmosis of reading it on my Twitter feed, aka X to Everything app. Okay, but while I was on X, aka Twitter, the tweeting app, I saw these tweets where, like, these guys were, like, bitching and moaning about this VTuber getting fucked on stream. First of all, you shouldn't be fucking on stream. That's just a given. But this girl previously mocked Chibi Reviews, from what I recall offhand, right? And and I'm gonna I have to pull it up. I have to pull this up. I'm sorry. I guess we're going on a little bit of a detour. Actually, it started off with her saying she didn't want not safe for work art. Oh, is that how it started? Is that how it started? I don't want to. I'm gonna say something a little uncouth. Okay, I'm gonna say something a little uncouth. She's bad as fuck. Chibi dogged on her for it, and she clapped back with the fiance. Ah, okay.
Congratulations.
Well, have a little hopium, Diesel. A lot of these hyperinflated collectibles exist because of third-party rich people engaging in money laundering to start collectors' markets and auctions. The entire grading system only exists because of said rich people and their auctions.
First of all, Axis, thank you for that humongous giga donation. That beautiful. Thank you so much. Two, yes. New Wealth seems to be using these systems as a means to launder money, you know, which is also a humongous issue, which is probably why there should be a regulatory body for this sort of thing. At least art or wine is like kind of protected, or there are methods for those luxury goods, you know, but there is not methods for these, right? So what a lot of rich people do is that they like hide their wealth in like wine or paintings, and then those paintings have to just sit on a dock, because if you import it past the dock, then you have to pay the fees on it. But if you just leave it there, you don't, right? Which is like a way that you could get around it. I'm again, that's like very small version of this, but yeah. So there's not really any of that for collectibles. You can just do it, right? Yeah, all the grading houses. You know what's funny though is that with the big rush for all this grading that's going on, the grading houses have a backlog, and they can't actually do anything because they have so many cards, over 1 million cards. So the lowest tiers to get your cards graded have been taken up by guys sending in lots of like bullshit bulk that's not worth anything. So in the hopes that it'll be worth something later. To summarize it, an artist posted art of Demi and a not safe for work alt of the art on Twitter. Demi told the said artist to remove the not safe for work alt and then said, "I'm fine with lewd, but not safe for work." And then Chibi and his goons decided to bombard Demi. Okay, that's the TLDR. That's the TLDR. Okay. That's crazy work, dude. That's crazy work. Did that guy ever dig up Chibi Review's brother and turn him into a chair, or did that not happen? You know, I do like that there was like this faux care that people exhibited where they're like, whoa, guys, he is a cuck and he is like a complete fucking loser. But going to his brother's grave and then threatening to dig him up is just too far. Not to be that guy, but the gloves were already off. All right. Oh, that's too far for me. This is I'm willing to say that this guy should blow his fucking brains out because his fucking fiance cheated on him. But let's let the dead rest. They weren't going to be defiling a corpse. The joke ended at the gravestone. Nobody's defiling the corpse. That's a crime. That's a crime. You go to jail. All right? Yeah. It's in VTuber Watch. Okay. Okay. So I can actually show the art too. I've seen this. I haven't seen this art, but I have seen this account. So not Chibi Reviews, the guy he's like doing. So he's trying to basically, yeah, he's basically trying to reverse. Oh, excuse me, my bad. Fucking dumb streamer idiot here. Level of virtue signaling has me stun locked. Look at the repost. Can we just, dude? Isn't it really funny that like the Chud has embraced woke language? Total woke cultural victory. All right, dude. We got the virtue signals. We got the it's total woke scold shit too. It's crazy. But yeah, that's the full art. You can see it. She's clothed. She's clothed, YouTube. Okay, she's clothed. So she's fine with the ecchi, but she's not fine with the not safe for work. So I guess we're saying like penetrative, like naked art, whatever. You know, I don't know, man. I think you could probably still crank one out to that. Based. I don't know why the alerts aren't showing up, but the sound is playing. I've never had that one happen before. It's not me. I didn't do it. Let me try and turn it on. Oh, I know why. That should fix it. Maybe. We'll see. Which people still make, by the way. She just wanted to address it. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So they've been, like, getting on this. So when she defended herself, okay, because I'm getting the tweets now. All right, I'm getting the tweets now. Wait, oh my god, aren't you the guy whose fiance literally cheated on you and your whole friend group sided with her, laughing my fat ass off? So you're avoiding answering why you retweet not safe for work of your avatar despite being upset about it in your post? Then you cheer on cheating. Interesting. Is that I don't okay, so real talk. Why do you fucking care what a random stranger VTuber does? All right, if she has a dumb double standard that you think is a double standard, you could just go, I think it's dumb, and go on with my life. The idea that you're wasting time, effort, and energy to respond and get in an argument with a stranger about this is the weirdest shit ever. Who fucking cares? Who fucking cares, right? Like, obviously, if her standard is like, I don't want penetrative art, but I'm cool with that, and you say, well, that kind of feels like it's kind of like a double standard because both of those feel like they could be the same thing. You know, where's the line? Because the line seems vague. I agree, the line does seem vague, but what do you... VTubers have tons of ridiculous opinions. It doesn't mean that I sit up on here and go, I think I gotta start a fight with her. She has an opinion that I find, you know, a little bit a shade of gray. I only deal in black and whites. You know, it's like, obviously that artist posts porn. There's tons of porn on the account. Okay, what are you talking about? So you could have answered first like this, but used personal attacks and cheered cheating. Not a good look. Cheap. Nobody fucking respects you. Nobody fucking respects you. I don't. The videos of people thinking she is having sex on stream are really funny. Well, if she is, then she shouldn't be. But on top of that, if everybody's cool with it, I guess, man, like, who fucking gives a shit? Who fucking, dude, fucking his partner was getting her shit cracked and he couldn't even fucking participate himself. You know, like, are we really gonna be doing this? Here's the thing, Chibi Reviews. Nobody would have known about you getting cucked by the love of your life if you weren't so beholdenly, like, locked into Twitter, okay, and needed to post something, right? If I have something abundantly embarrassing happen in my life, something that is just so transcendentally makes me look bad, I don't share it with the internet. Why would you? Does that make any sense? Like you literally did it to yourself. You could have gone through your whole life never saying that to the internet. Why? That doesn't I want to know the thought process behind why you would share that. Genuinely. So genuinely, right? Because it's just like, you could say, oh, my fiance and I broke up, you know, we just found out it wasn't really going to work out. And then you could have saved yourself the dignity. Okay? You could have saved yourself the dignity. He doesn't have friends to talk to. I mean, yeah, but anything else really could have been. You could have said anything, is what I'm saying. Is that you're not destined to do that. You don't need to do that, right? We can choose to not share things with the internet. That's actually really beautiful, to not share things with the internet. Buy this man a diary. Oh my god. So they claim she got her shit cracked on stream. So we're now going to examine the evidence. They're also calling her fat, which is like, all right, man, what are we doing? Who gives a shit? Again, here's another thing. Who gives a shit, right? Obviously, I said I would hit that. Who gives a fuck, right? I'm sure you could write all the fucking funny jokes you want to about that. But here's the thing, right? If you're not into that, you're not into that. The weird thing that people do online where they're like, oh, what you like is weird, ergo I'm going to have a problem with that. Why do you waste your time? Like I don't understand. Maybe I'm just like not online enough, but I just don't care. I don't care, right? Like I make a joke about Just the Robot's girlfriend, but I don't care. I don't actually care. I just know that it would bother him if I said that, and I know that he would react, right? Which is maybe what you're doing, but the thing is that, and here's why I don't think that's the case for a lot of these guys, right? And I'm talking about more like men generally, right? Is because it's never like one offhand joke, right? Like I made one offhand joke that Jar then proceeded to repeat ad nauseum, right? It's like you go and you read these guys' profile and everything is about that. They're always complaining about something like that or adjacent to that. And it goes on forever and ever and ever. Diesel, is it because she's Filipino? I mean, nah, not really. That's not really the deciding factor for me. We're going to get to the Legos. Someone brought this up. But yeah, now they're like calling her a hog and shit. And it's like, dude, who, like, unironically, I don't, and that's another thing. I don't understand this because I'm not a viewer, right? But the concept and idea of someone who's a viewer of me fighting on my behalf, I find outrageously cringe, right? Someone having to waste their free time on my behalf is pathetic. Is what I'm saying, right? I just I have no idea who the fucking Otterly Noah is.
Of course. This? Of course! Yes! I have bad news, Evans. Yarrow says that there was a problem with the proposed power source, so the orbital probe...
Is this what we're gonna... This is the evidence of her getting cracked on stream? That's funny. Oh, we're using this? Okay. All right, here's the thing. You need a... Oh, that's funny. That's funny. You know what the mentality here is with a clip like this, right? Is that you watch a doujin or a porn. No, a doujin, right? Right? It's a doujin, right? So you're reading a doujin, and it's two people, and they're going at it, right? And then they do like a thing where they're like, "We're fucking. Let me get like food because we're just staying here or something," right? In this hypothetical scenario, right? And then or somebody knocks on the door, right? Somebody knocks on the door, but she's still getting her shit cracked through the door, or like on the other side of the door, and she's trying to like keep herself composed, and she's like answering the door while the guy's just hitting it from the back, going crazy style, and she's like, I can't, and then they close the door, right? That's that scenario that they're imagining. They're imagining that scenario. We don't know if that's happening. This is real life.
Canon won't be asked if, wow, I cannot fucking read, dude. Dude, I was like actually like grade 1 level of like reading, dude. Oh my god, dude, shit. Oh my god. I just need to like calm down.
If she was getting cracked on stream, wouldn't her avatar be bouncing? No, the entire idea here is that she's getting back shots. Okay?
I'm calm now.
You're confusing this VTuber with a different VTuber before you do. They all look the same, okay?
I hope you're pulling my my This is so good.
But the point is that this looks like another VTuber that you've seen, which is why you're saying that, Cosmeo. But I do not think that is the same person. Otherwise, she would have not been getting shit from Chibi reviews because it's team sports.
Read slower. You just gotta lock in.
Yeah, you guys are doing the thing where you're so commentary brained you can't realize that there's just a bunch of different anime girls out there that all look the same.
Dude, okay, sorry. I hope you're pulling my locomotive limb here, Casa.
Yeah, but think about it. Even just like think about the optics here. There's no way Chibi reviews would be going after somebody who defended Nux. It just wouldn't happen.
Oh, I think I just have to go more American, sorry. I wish I were, my friend, but no. They aren't certain that they
What if she's just like moving in her chair a little bit, man?
can fix the problem, so the orbital probe cannon is on an indefinite hiatus. Whoa! I suddenly can read really properly, what the fuck? Tell Private and Mallow they should return from the cannon.
So they think she was banging because she's laughing? It's because she's moving back and forth a little bit.
My spouse and I will remain from the construction yard from now. Update! Mallow and I will join you and Dad's private left.
Yeah, it just looks like the you gotta have some serious goon rot to be thinking. I know the kind of scenario that they're picturing in their head that led to that event, but I do not think she's getting her shit cracked. As somebody who has sex, she is not getting her shit cracked in that. Okay, that's my prognosis. All right, and if she's a bigger woman, ain't no way it's that quiet. We all would have noticed. All right, it would have been really easy to notice. The cracking. Yeah, it would be funnier if that was the case, but that is not happening. Yeah, if I was crazy enough to fuck on stream, I'd at least have an OnlyFans to paid engagement. Stop forcing your cuck fantasies onto others. My ass is too fat to move that little... Oh my god. Oh shit. That's crazy. Hold on. Someone's saying she's definitely... First of all, one of the people commenting on this is saying that she squirted in the clip. Okay, all right. Hold on. Let me put on my fucking Sherlock Holmes glasses now. All right, and do a big think here. Let's hear it. It's 14 seconds. No, she's just doing the thing. She's just moving. She's literally just moving. See, did you hear that at the like the 5-second mark? That they think that's her coming. Okay. No, there's some like you can hear like bodily movement as well in that, but it is not
All this has said to me is everyone who thought she was getting railed either has never had sex, or has had really, really bad sex.
She is not getting railed. She's not getting railed. She's not even bouncing on anything, dude. I don't think even that's happening. Oh, fuck. That's fucking crazy. Here's another thread going over Demi's claim. Sure, let's give it a gander. This is a 5-minute clip. All right, I'll read the tweet, but that's about it. None of these people speculating about her getting railed can find the clip.
Yeah, this is stupid. We care about this? Is it because Chibi Reviews is involved?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. It's because they're trying to put together evidence on behalf of their king. You know? He's like He's like that leper king in the movie. It was played by Edward Norton. I forget his name. But instead of a leper king, he's the cuck king. So there's a new claim about this Demi person that she's getting piped on stream, but you can actually hear her getting railed during her boyfriend's stream. Cucking him live, if you will. I will say this, right? I'll say this. In another respect, like, I genuinely don't care. If people are, like, in some weird, like, cuckold relationship and they're all cool with it, why the fuck do I care, right? The only reason it's funny for Chibi is because he decided to make a video and make it known to everybody, one. And then two, he was an unwitting participant in that, okay? Or an unwilling participant in that. If it's people all being consensual and doing that together, who the fuck gives a shit, dude? Who the fuck gives a shit? Unironically. I've matched the timestamp of both VODs so you can see both of their POVs and what they were doing during the alleged timestamp I was sent. It's because it bothers him a great deal. He's a non-consensual cuck, and that's why it's funny. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess. Sure. I mean, ultimately, it is like a no lives thing because, like, unironically, who Mega Law gives a shit. Genuinely, it's just not worth the juice is not worth the squeeze. You know what I mean? After transvestigation, this summer comes sexvestigation. Right? So it's like, and then it's just like, I don't, what is the claim? What is the claim that's like destroys her with facts and logic here, right? Is it that she's like getting her shit clapped on stream? Is it that the boyfriend is a cuck? Is it that she's a cheater? You know, if everybody's engaging in something consensual, I don't care. If there's like a cheating situation going on, that's pretty sad, but it's also not my business. You know? If it's like a consensual cucking, I don't care because it's just like part of their kink. I don't give a shit what you do in your consensual kink with other people. Okay? The only people who do are like old grandpas and guys who don't get nothing. Diesel, this is the internet. The amount of men and women who can resist posting their own L's is in the minority. Hell, even you posted about dying in the woods. That's true. That's true. But to be honest, we could have died, absolutely. But you exaggerate for the sake of a good story. I don't think I would have died on the reasoning that my sleeping bag was rated for negative 32 degrees weather. My brother could have died, absolutely. But yeah, it's like, that's nothing. You know, a lived life has some near-death experiences, I would say. If you don't have any good stories to tell, you've rarely done anything. You know, I would much rather have a harrowing experience in a life or death scenario in the woods than sit at home and just tweeting all day.
Die in wood.
Yeah, die in wood. But like, if I had like some really whack ass drama, I don't know, I just wouldn't post something like that. It's none of your fucking business who I'm seeing or anything like that. You know, it's not something I talk about really on stream. I talk about my encounters, but that's I'm different. I'm honestly playing a bit a lot of the time. Yeah, the threat of imminent mortality keeps us on our toes. But yeah, a lot of like when I talk about relationships or like romantic encounters, like the point of that is to like, it usually is to make a point about something that I'm talking about. Otherwise, it's all like stuff that's like normal, you know? Like what? Who the fuck hasn't had a bad Hinge hookup? You know? Fucking everybody who goes outside. Who the fuck bombs miserably at a bar? Literally everybody. You know? It's normal for all that stuff to happen. If you're not a fucking loser, and you leave.
Some of us think you're seeing Falgi.
Some of us think you're seeing Falgi. Yeah, Falgi wishes he was seeing me. Excuse me, Judas. I don't know this Falgi person. You talking about how you have pull but no time to get ass? You don't know what I've been doing in the last 5 months. The great thing about working in real life means that I get exposed to people plenty of times. He who must not be named. Don't give him power, okay? That's why his name is Judas. All right? That's different. Not clapping cheeks. I don't know. I work in real life, and most of the men who hit on me are married. I'm sorry. Falgi is scary. Having a job gets you laid, I'm assuming. No, having a cool job and running a business gets you laid. And also, like, you gotta, like, not just wear a graphic tee and jeans, guys. You know? These will be using that Warhammer store to own a Riz. You'd be surprised how hot it is to actually be like, I own a business. Here's my store. You want to walk in? That does numbers. I'm not even going to lie.
I never get hit on.
You got to go outside, brother. You got to leave your house. Hold on, I'm receiving messages in this moment.
Brought you frankincense. Thank you. And I brought you myrrh. Thank you. Murder. Judas.
Yeah, it looks like it might be. Okay. So there's also fake screenshots of Demi going around. So it looks like they're really trying to build a narrative against her. Okay. Not good. Not good. They'll move on. Give them something to do in the next week or so. Really, she just has to keep posting. But if she if she takes the bait, it's all on her. Let's be real here. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about some other motherfuckers. Let's talk about Shifty Schaefer. Let's talk about Shifty Schaefer. All right. So, this rotund individual, okay?
Well, I just don't get hit on. Well, sometimes old wine moms whose kids are with them.
I think this community needs to have a like love phones type situation. Okay. We need to have like a love phones type situation. Cause I understand what you're saying, but women are fickle creatures, my fellas. All the ladies, cover your ears. Women are fickle creatures. Their signs are not the things you think they are, but they do give signs. Okay. And I know you all think I'm crazy when I say this, but when women give a look, there's a look that they have. They give you this look, and that's how you know they're into you. Okay? And I know you're like, Diesel, what's the look? You need to look people in the eyes. When you learn to look people in the eyes, my autistic gentleman, you will notice when a woman finally gives you the look. And then you must feel it in your bones and take that leap. Okay? Because more often than not, you'll stick the landing. But you must do those things. Can we get a poll with 3 options of married, in a relationship, single? Sure, I'll do that. Here. Ironic, because nothing's scarier than the look. Not the look from Disco Elysium, but a look. It is a look. You will know. It will happen. Yeah. Women are like cats. Some of them are, not all of them. Being gay is so good. We just approach each other and go, we should bang. Oh, shit. So, Shifty Schaefer, all right? Scott Schaefer has a bit of a storied history. I've beefed with him as well as the rest of the commentary community. Scott Schaefer came to prominence when there was that sponsor that gave you a title. It was established titles, right? Which let you buy a plot of land and become a lord, right? Now, anybody who's been alive knows what those kind of things are. Those are novelty gifts, right? It's like when you buy a star. Okay, you don't really actually own a star. There's no international database of star names. Okay, you don't own a star.
Feel it in the bones or bollocks?
You feel it in your bones, and then maybe your balls a little later. You know.
TBH, they give me a look of disgust when I look at them. But for some reason not wine moms also we hit the goal.
Listen, Power Man, there's like a whole number of things here that gotta be kind of like, you know, broken down into. I can't just derail this to help you with that, but but maybe you should shoot a little older, man. Maybe that's what you need. You know, maybe you need to develop that prowess through defiling the sanctity of somebody's marriage, you know? We gotta unpack this. We don't have the time. Damn, Diesel, your chat's single as fuck. Oh, shit. That's fucking funny. Dude, we get some mega parkour Roblox, dude. Hell yeah. God, that's fucking funny.
My ex-GF of 5 years dumped me at the end of March. I had 3 F-buddies by mid-April and now am dating someone I really like. I haven't even moved out of my ex's place.
Damn, son. That's crazy work, not gonna lie. Nothing. I need to see what this poll is at. Damn!
I panic and ask people into me if they need help.
Oh, shit. Alright. I don't wanna... It's a lot, man. Interesting. Alright. We gotta move on. We gotta move on. We can't unpack all of your guys' relationship trauma, all right? We'll figure something out. We'll figure something out, but it can't be now, all right? All right. So, Shifty Schaefer came to power during the course. Am I just aping a name that Donald Trump used for like a congressperson or something? Am I just doing that? We're doing that. It's happening, right? He came to power during the established titles stuff, right? So established titles is a novelty gift, right? You don't actually become a real lord. Nobody's going to recognize your lordship title in the same way that nobody's going to recognize your ownership of a star. These are things that I thought people understood and knew because the buying the star thing had been around for a while. We're all kind of familiar with the buying the star novelty gift, right? You buy like this star is named after you. Here's a certificate saying such, right? It's like a novelty gift that you give to someone if they're like really into space and you don't know what to get them. Okay. And yeah, so that's the kind of thing that he was about.
For context, I work in a supermarket. I become NPC.
Well, there's like a time and a place. You know what I mean? There's a time and a place. I get a lot more time to talk to customers. So in the same breath, it's a little easier for me. But this is like when you go do a thing. It's like, oh, I work at a supermarket. Maybe in my free time, I go do something. And then when you go do something, that's where you meet women.
Well, you say that, but the last wine moms I dated was still married and was using me to cheat on her now ex-husband. Also, this is a bit.
Well, you should have just ended it there. You should have told me it's a bit. You should have let me revel in the insanity of the thing you said rather than tell me it's a bit. Okay. So, established titles was the same thing, but it was for lordships, right? And you don't actually become a lord. It's not actually recognized. People who were able to get the title of lord put on their documents are committing a crime, basically, right? From what I hear. But you could basically have whatever title on a bunch of different documents as well, too. So yeah, it's just a novelty gift like that for people who are really into, fucking medieval shit. Either that or they're just like, oh, I got this for you because you always think you're a fucking king. Ha ha ha. Right? It's one of those kind of things, right? But yeah, Scott kind of exists in the genre of YouTuber who says every YouTube sponsor is a scam. To be clear, let us talk very briefly about what I think the word scam means, because words don't fucking mean anything anymore. For something to be a scam, the product has to not deliver on its core tenant, right? It just has to not fulfill that. If something is a bad product, that is not a scam. That is a bad product, okay? Those are different things, right? If I order an item and the item is delivered and I can use the item, but the experience of the item feels worse than the advertising, I don't think that's a scam. I think that's just a bad product, right? And you're kind of like, it's like saying, like, when you go to McDonald's, right? You watch a McDonald's commercial, you see the Big Mac in the commercial, and you're like, I want that. I want that Big Mac. And then you go and you buy a Big Mac at McDonald's, and then the Big Mac does not resemble what it is. Okay? You're like, this doesn't fit the mind's eye picture that I saw in the commercial of what the Big Mac is. Now, because of laws, that Big Mac in the commercial is the same thing as the Big Mac that you're getting, but it's not as pretty, right? It's not the same, right? Nobody is sitting here going, the Big Mac is a scam. We all know what a Big Mac is. We know that when we see it in the commercial, it's like beautified, but it's still a Big Mac, okay? and I can't go over every single fucking YouTube sponsor like AG1 or Gruns or whatever. I am going to assume that AG1 probably does not meet standards if Brian Johnson, the longevity guy, says that it's ass. I gotta be honest, I do kind of trust him on the basis of that one weird specific thing. But yeah, a lot of these things are like bad product or like a mediocre product, or it's one thing and not the other, right? All of that. There's a myriad of different ways we could describe these things. The reality is that when I get a product, I kind of have to evaluate it on its own terms rather than like what I think the experience is from the advertising, right? Because advertising is trying to get you to buy a thing on the basis of a feeling, right? So like Nike commercials aren't selling you shoes. They're selling you the dream of being an athlete. You're finally going to be the person who puts on these shoes in the morning and goes for a run. They're not selling you the shoes. They're selling you a feeling that you get from buying the shoes. All right. Now, does that mean that the shoes are bad or good? Well, it depends on who you ask and when you ask, right? Which is why things like reviews are important, or, you know, understanding like the reality of what these products are, or trying them out and then returning them, all that stuff, right? I'll give you a personal example, right? Since my stream on Brian Johnson, I have been very interested to learn about like the health stuff that he is doing, right? I obviously can't afford it. I am fucking broke, right? But with that, I was like, okay, what is out there that I could try out? See what's up. Maybe there's something I could get from this, right? And so I went looking, and okay, I was trying to price everything out, and the thing that I ended up deciding on trying out, to be clear, I haven't paid any money for this yet, and I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I'm kind of erring on the side of I'm probably going to return it. Did you end up buying the Cock Fitbit? No. So I bought a Whoop. Okay? Or I didn't buy a Whoop. I signed up for Whoop. Okay? Now, this is a really, really, really weird product that is like for a very niche, specific kind of person, right? It is for somebody who wants to like maximize their recovery and their fitness and all of that stuff, right? The marketing for Whoop is like, this will improve your life. This is going to make you live longer. We have stats in here that tell you how you're going to live longer. We have the best in the business and, you know, all this health tracking and blah, 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 blah. What it is, when you buy like a smartwatch, there is a lot of these sensors on the bottom half of the watch that track like your skin temperature, your blood ox, all of this stuff. This is a thing that does that all the time. The difference is that it has no screen. So the battery lasts for a really long time. And there's like a whole app with it, right? And I basically get all this information about my fitness and my health and my stress and all of that stuff. So by the way, just so everybody knows, my recovery is at 94%, and I have 14.1% strain. So it measures pretty much everything that I do in a day for fitness. Okay.
Is it marketed by ICP?
No, it's marketed by people who shop at Lululemon and go to that expensive gym that like Peter Thiel would go to. That gym that's just for gay dudes to hook up in. What's that expensive New York City gym called? There's many of them. I can't remember the name. Right? But like, what this is doing is like, what this sells is that this will turn you into, the pitch is that this will turn you into an elite athlete. The reality is that this thing is like a constantly nagging gym teacher who's like, hey, you've been up too late. Go to bed. Right? Hey, you've been running too much. Go to bed. Hey, your blood oxygen is low. You should fucking breathe. You know? Like it's like literally the product is just, it will annoy the shit out of you to make you do better, more healthy choices, right? But what it pitches itself as is it'll make you an elite athlete. Now, I don't think I'm going to be an elite athlete, but I do think it has improved my sleep. at least in the last like 4 or 5 days that I've been wearing it, right? There's a bunch of other stuff like how Brian Johnson gets his age. I haven't unlocked my Whoop age yet, right? But it tells you how old your body acts versus, you know, how you should be performing at your age. It has some things in it that make it not super useful for somebody like me who's a strength athlete. So, you know, but it is great for ADHD. Yeah, I never forget to take my medication now. I'm always like on point for like my vitamins. It has made me journal. So it makes me journal every day now, which is a humongous change. But as a strength athlete, it's actually really fucking bad. It does all these great things, but then that's bad. And that's a big thing for me because it's something that's important to me. Anyway, the point of this to say is what it pitches me and what it actually is are similar but different. The idealized version of Whoop is that it makes you an elite athlete. The reality of Whoop is that it'll make you pick healthier habits that you should just honestly be doing on your own, right? But there's a genre of YouTube content that annoys the fuck out of me, and Scott definitely takes the cake for that. It is I think this YouTube sponsor is a scam because it doesn't meet my standards or needs. And it's like, all right, AG1, sure, it probably doesn't have enough trace minerals for either gut microbiome or the micronutrients that you need. Sure, that's a different story. But if we're talking about something like fucking Raycons, dude, we're talking about Raycons where like a video like, oh, Raycons are a scam. Okay. First of all, Raycons are marketed as budget earphones. Okay. That is what Raycons are doing, right? They're saying these are budget earphones that meet the same standards as more expensive earphones. That's what they're advertising. To be honest, what you're getting with Raycon are probably white label earphones. Okay. That doesn't mean they're bad, and it doesn't mean they're a scam. A lot of things you buy are white label. Most of the things that you get from Amazon Basics are white label products. Most of the things that you buy at literally everything you buy at Trader Joe's is a white label product. Okay, because they get overstock from other companies, and then they relabel it. Okay, or there's a bunch of other fucking products that we could talk about. You know, Kirkland signatures could be identical to a name brand. That's because it's white labeled, right? There's tons of products that are white labeled. It's fucking normal, all right? So it doesn't mean that Raycons are a scam because I can go on AliExpress or Alibaba and talk to a guy in Chinese and buy 100 of them, all right? We get the convenience of buying it. Yeah, the thing about Mr. Shifty Schaefer is that he is essentially the skin-walking version of CoffeeZilla, okay? Diesel, most people don't know this. Explain white label, please. Okay. All right, I'll do this because we're kind of on the topic of it, and Scott directly buffs up against that, right? This does relate to the Lego thing in that little thing, right? Okay. So, white label products. There are many companies that produce at volume. And so if I'm a company, let's say that I'm a company that makes pretzels. What's a pretzel company? Like Rolls Gold or something, right? Rolls Gold pretzels. Okay, so I'm gonna just double check that this Rolled Gold. Okay, so there's a company called Rolled Gold, and I'm just gonna use them as an example. Rolled Gold makes pretzels. They're a company that manufactures and mass produces pretzels. Now, Rolled Gold produces a lot of pretzels. They probably produce so many pretzels that they end up with extra. So, theoretically speaking, Rolled Gold could sell all of their pretzels, but there's a good chance that they can't. So, do they throw out those extra pretzels that they've made? They were going to make those pretzels anyway. No, they're not going to do that because they want to maximize profit. And they would lose money if they just bake the pretzels, make them, and then throw them out. Okay? So what they do is that they go, and there's one of two ways that they do it. Companies approach them and say, we need a store brand pretzel. Can you produce pretzels for us to put in our store? And they'll say yes. And then what they'll end up doing for the store is packaging the pretzels in the packages for that brand. So you might go to a store, you go to the chip aisle, and then there's the Great Value salted pretzels, and then there's the name brand Rolls Gold. You open up the bags, they're identical, but the Great Value one, they were able to buy all of those pretzels for less money because they were buying in bulk. So ergo, when you go to buy those pretzels, the Great Value pretzels, you're getting savings because you're buying the Walmart brand pretzels, right? Because they got it at a discount and they are trying to meet a different price demographic with that object, okay? So you could either do that or Rolls Gold, right? But they're both the same thing. And lots of products are like that because the reality is that we can't penetrate every market. Some people might be able to penetrate different markets. So Coffee Brand Coffee is another great example, right? So Coffee Brand Coffee is a white labeled product. There's a coffee roaster. It's a woke coffee roaster. They don't share the same values that the Quartering shares, right? But they're a regional coffee roaster, which means that they only sell coffee to a specific area. They only sell coffee to specific grocery stores. They're not able to get and penetrate other markets because they might be too saturated. It's difficult for them, if they're in Portland, Oregon, right? I don't know if they are, but let's just say they are. They're in Portland, Oregon, and they could service maybe like 40 different grocery stores in the Oregon area, in the Portland, Oregon area. They could service an online retailer, but they're like a local coffee company. So they service like a general area. The Quartering needs to make coffee for Coffee Brand Coffee. He approaches this woke coffee roaster and he says, I would like to enter a white label agreement with you. I want to rebrand some of this coffee and sell it on my website. We'll be able to penetrate a different market. Okay? And what he ends up doing is buying a lot of coffee. He buys it for a more expensive cost than the roaster would, but less than what you would because he's buying it bulk, right? And so his margins are a little thinner than if you bought directly from the roaster, right? But then he is able to repackage that, market it, and then sell it to people who probably wouldn't buy it, right? Because if you're the woke coffee roaster, your auntie who really likes Trump MAGA mixology probably isn't going to buy that coffee. But what she will do is buy Coffee Brand Coffee. Now, ultimately, at the end of the day, the coffee is the same, but it doesn't really matter. Okay? Because now it's been rebranded. Now, what the Quartering does is that he charges more for his non-woke coffee. So his margins are probably better, honestly. Knowing what I know about coffee, his margins are probably better. Which is why it's crazy that he's so bad at running a business. Because we're talking about a direct-to-consumer brand here. It really shouldn't be that fucking difficult for him. Thank you, Diesel. Knowledge is a privilege, unfortunately. If you don't know how to ask the questions, how are you supposed to find the answer? The thing is, too, is that all of this is, like, really easy to do. You, right now, could start a direct-to-consumer company with, like, Shopify and then talking to some companies on AliExpress and then rebranding it. If you give them the packaging, they'll do it. That's, like, the crazy thing about Chinese factories is that they have all the infrastructure to do this at scale. Right? That's why American things are so expensive. They can't do it at scale. But if you go, you talk to a Chinese company, you could fucking do all this shit at scale. It's fucking crazy. Yeah. If you talk to people who work at factories and produce things like cereal and such, they'll tell you the products also get packaged and sent to cheaper brands. Yeah. And then, it's like the difference between what we're talking about really when we get back to YouTube sponsors and then finally back to Scott Schaefer, is we're talking about the difference between a bad product and then a scam. A scam doesn't deliver on the premise of its marketing. A bad product delivers a mediocre experience of what it advertised. Okay? So if I got the Whoop and a Whoop was just a band that I put on my wrist and does nothing, that's a scam. But the Whoop does the thing from the marketing. Okay? Dang, now it makes you really think that some companies that target a certain demographic may not be as aligned as you think. Well, that's just the listen, money's green. That's the ultimate signifier, right? But a lot of these companies, they can't permeate every market, which is why white label exists. White label helps them reach into those new markets.
Now when does this relate to the third space?
This is actually one of those rare moments where it doesn't. Anyway, Shifty Schaefer originally was like a finance YouTube bro, okay? So he used to do things like talk about crypto, talk about real estate, talk about investments, okay, on a separate channel. He would talk about like, what's the best investment? How will this make you money? Will you be able to make returns on dividends? Right? So we're talking about like a guy who was like one of those dividend investor YouTubers who would try and like sell you on different investments that give you a return on whatever you bought in with it, you know? So he would do a lot of that. He would talk about crypto, all of that. Very fucking boring stuff. It was very, very unsuccessful. He was also a big Star Wars guy. He also had a Star Wars channel that floundered for many years. Or a year, give or take. I don't want to talk specifics like that. But he did have a Star Wars channel. You shouldn't age since the last. Monique with the 5 gifted. Very based. What the fuck? Smaggle got a gift. Smaggle got gifted, dude. Anyway, that is who Scott is. Now, Scott took a lot of shit from the commentary community during his established titles drama. And you might be wondering why. It was because the commentary community took the stance that, man, people should know what a novelty gift is. If they're stupid enough that they thought they were actually a lord or lady, they are a fucking moron, and I got a bridge to sell them. Okay? Which I agree with, right? I took umbrage with a lot of how Scott was talking about this, and I got into beef with him on fucking Twitter, and he blocked me, okay? Because I thought he was a fucking idiot, and I said that he should, like, check his P's and Q's, and he blocked me. Where do you keep all these bridges? You know, same place that the check is in the mail, you know? But ultimately, at the end of the day, Scott's established title video went viral. So it didn't matter, okay? And he was able to ride that into middling success. And we are here now where Scott has a YouTube channel that he basically rides the coattails of CoffeeZilla and then gets into like random beefs. The last time that Scott Schaefer was on this YouTube channel, we were talking about his weird beef with Caleb Hammer. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not a Caleb Hammer fan. I think that he might be the reincarnation of Dave Ramsey, which is not a compliment from me. I do not like Caleb Hammer. However, Scott Schaefer took a very, very outrageous claim and tried to explode Caleb Hammer with it. And it was bad. And he shouldn't have done it. And it was bad. It was bad. Basically, it was just like, Caleb Hammer is evil, parentheses, and gay. That was basically what the video was. Okay, that was basically Scott's video, is that Caleb Hammer is evil and gay, which is possible. It turns out there's a lot of guys that are really into finance and evil and gay. The shoe may fit, but it did not fit this day. But that is a lot of what Scott does. That is who he is. And I will say, Caleb Hammer was kind of riding high at the time that Scott did that video. Caleb Hammer is also riding high now, but at the time was like the start of it. And Scott has a habit of contrarian titling. I do not know if that's what this video is going to be about because I haven't watched it yet, but that is what I think it will be. But in it, it shows in the thumbnail of this video, it shows like Reckless Ben holding a sign saying that he's a liar. And basically the video is implying that Reckless Ben is being duplicitous, which ultimately I should clarify here. Scott framing this video as Reckless Ben being 100% duplicitous, because that's what it is, right? This video leaves no room for any kind of like, right? It just says, I lied. All right. What? So does this not look like it would be really awesome for the Mormons? Would this not be like really awesome for the Mormons in this equation? Is it that Scott Schaefer is secretly a Mormon? Who knows? Who knows? Maybe he is a Mormon in disguise. Maybe he's a Mormon spy. All right. But isn't this crazy, dude? Isn't this a crazy thumbnail? No room for any like understanding about anything. Okay. If I were to just see this thumbnail where it says Reckless Ben lied about the Lego scandal, you're saying Reckless Ben lied about the Lego scandal? Oh, then I guess that that all of those people involved are a piece of shit, and that it's totally okay what everybody else is doing. But we'll get into it now.
Series has done a great job exposing not only the corruption of a company known as Bricks and Minifig, but also the corruption of an entire city's police force in a YouTuber Reckless Ben's Lego series has done a great job exposing not only the corruption of a company known as Bricks and Minifig, but also the corruption of an entire city's police force in American Forks, Utah. Unfortunately, after doing some digging, it seems like Ben got a lot of his information wrong and seems
Oh. So can we listen, man? How do you write a script for a video where Ben gets things wrong, but you don't make it sound like a corrupt police department is completely off the hook? Because the wording and the structure of this, where you give Ben kudos and then immediately snatch it out of his hands, makes it sound like, oh, the police department isn't duplicitous and evil.
to have straight up lied to his audience about winning a court case against the store that stole the Legos in the first place. On top of all of that, Ben's very reckless approach to vigilante justice led to him committing a bunch of serious crimes in his first video that will most likely end up with him spending years behind bars.
I mean, will they? Who knows, man? You don't know, right? Like, none of us know, really. All of these things gotta play out in court, right?
And will probably hurt the family's chance of getting their stolen Legos returned. Now, I talked about...
Look, ultimately, at the end of the day, right? It's like a lesser of two evils. If Ben acted as a vigilante in retrieving or getting these Legos back for them, I think that is a lesser evil than whatever systemic oppression that the Mormon Church and American Fork Police Department have enacted on its community. Okay? It's really hard for me to be upset at any of Ben's, like, vigilantism when the alternative is like a completely corrupt police department. Okay? It's like, first of all, who watches the Watchers type shit? Second of all, we can't assume that the police are always operating in good faith. I'm sorry. This is like something that is... Okay, first of all, this guy has a fucking bat signal behind him. This is like quite literally one of the things that gets discussed in every single fucking Batman comic, okay? Because routinely the police department is either ignorant, dumb, or not operating in good faith. And as a result, Batman ends up as a confrontational person against the fucking Gotham City Police Department. So I don't understand why that is a hard thing for you to grasp.
This briefly on Twitter before I decided to make this video, and most people there had herd mentality and didn't want to hear the full story, so they all...
A guy who's constantly a contrarian is like, no, everybody's mad at me.
just called me a bootlicker or that I was a secret Mormon defending the corrupt cops.
Maybe he is a secret Mormon.
But before we get started, I want to make it clear that I am not Mormon, and nowhere in this video...
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Clearly, reality has shown that Mormons can lie. Quick, tell me that you don't know anything about Joseph Smith. Prove this negative.
I'd be defending the evil Bricks and Minifig Corporation that is clearly run by the real-life version of Dr. Robotnik. Nor will I be defending the police that clearly harassed Ben in his second video from American Forks, Utah. That whole police force needs to be investigated. Now, Ben's first video covers the story of a man that took...
Right? Unless, and here's the thing. Unless Ben's lies that he unveils through this video are that bad that we need to seriously reconsider the reality of the situation, this is like the biggest nothing burger of nothing burgers.
His elderly father's 200K Lego collection to a Bricks and Minifig store in Oregon and entered into an agreement with the store owners that they would sell the collection on consignment for the man. A few months later, the store owners sold the business because they were moving out of the country, and the new owners of the store that the corporation had found for them refused to honor the original owner's deal with the man and just took the Legos as their own. That was the intro.
I can't wait to find out why Ben is evil and gay. I should learn the secret Mormon handshake and then test it out on Scott Schaefer.
Ben's video, and the rest is Ben coming up with different ways to try and get the store owners to give back the Legos to the son of the elderly man. Over the course of the video, Ben commits a bunch of crimes that he tells his audience are legal loopholes, but in reality are not. We'll talk about that in a bit, but every good movie has a climax at the end, and Ben's video ends with his team purchasing the man's Legos, split among the 10 of them, and then filing 10 lawsuits in small claims court against the Bricks and Minifig store that stole the man's Legos. That store never responded to the lawsuit, and Ben wins by default, so he goes to the store to collect his winnings.
Yeah, Scott is right. Ben sued the wrong LLC, but he is also a right cunt. That is a, yeah, because I had heard from Beckett's stream that was the case, but then much like what I heard Beckett say, it was like one of those things where it's like, we have clearly moved past this. This does not matter anymore. Multiple lawyers also said it's a fair mistake for Ben to make, since lawyers sometimes sue the wrong people. Yeah.
Only to find that the store permanently shut down to avoid having to pay him.
Bricks and Minifigs hasn't responded to a single court case we submitted against them.
It's also like, what's the difference between, like, you know, you making it... There is this... All right, look, I know that I do, like, drama content, and there's, like, a bit of an expectation that I don't get on here and tell, like, bold-faced lies with intent to harm, right? But in the same breath, it's like, when it comes to content online, it is very strange how I feel like there is a larger expectation for YouTubers and creators on the platform to not, like, exaggerate for the sake of storytelling more than, like, real journalists or any media, okay? Because if this was on Netflix, this would, we'd still be having the same conversation, and we probably wouldn't even be talking about the theatrical moments that happen in Ben's video. You know, we would already assume that that's part of the experience of watching something on Netflix. But the second it's on YouTube, the standard changes completely, which I don't necessarily agree with, because I see YouTube as being the same as those other platforms where you stream and watch video content. But I guess I also have that is a different perspective to have. I know a lot of people want, like, reality on YouTube because it's YouTube, but YouTube hasn't been YouTube in a long time.
So I called the court to see what the next steps were.
You can move forward with a motion for default judgment.
Yes, since Bricks and Minifigs didn't respond, looks like we win by default.
Congratulations, you won the court case. Dang it!
I couldn't believe it. Literally one day after we filed a motion for default judgment, they permanently closed down the store. At first, it did feel kind of cool that our plan worked so well, it completely shut them down.
Now, unfortunately, that's all untrue. And I'm not really sure if Ben is maliciously lying to his audience to make a better story, or if
So to be clear here, the way that this has been structured, Scott, and the way that you have structured this is that now that you've made it a question, it was never a question, because the question was already presupposed, and we already have this expectation that you have set with the video yourself that Ben is lying maliciously and on purpose, when the reality is that he could have just been wrong.
It feels like the CoffeeZilla video took steam out of this story, but the American Fork PD still committed multiple civil rights violations. And I still think some Legos ended up in the Tuchel.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, do I really give a shit if Ben lied here? Like, it at the most it's like, oh, Ben probably lied out of ignorance or not know. Is it a lie if you don't know? Right? If you make a mistake and you're like, I didn't know, is that a lie or just like a lack of knowledge? Right? I mean, we're really getting into the semantics of what constitutes a lie, but you know, this is the level that we're at now, right?
He's just not smart enough to know he didn't win the lawsuits. I was able to pull up the cases in the Oregon Online Record Search, and all of Ben's cases from the video were dismissed by the judge, and Ben did not win any by default, as he claims in the video. Ben does have a new claim he created in March against Bricks and Minifig store owner Joshua Johnson, but that's not the case he mentioned in the video, and it's set to go to trial later this month. The cases he claims in the video he won were all dismissed, and digging into the paperwork, it's clear that Ben had no idea what he was doing. In the documents, we can see that Ben tried to sue an LLC,
Yeah, also, this was all footage before he was told the case was dismissed. The issue is the video is posted after.
known as L2 Bricks LLC. Unfortunately for Ben, this was the former owner of the store's LLC, and we can see it was dissolved in 2018 after a failure to renew. When the new owners took over the store, they formed a new business known as Salem Barker Bricks Incorporated. Ben wasn't aware of this apparently, and sued the defunct LLC from 2018. Now, to make matters
Why does every white male creator over 40 have the nostalgia critic posture? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need some evidence of what a fucking nostalgia critic posture is, and how do I not do it? Do I need to do yoga? How do I avoid that? I want to avoid that at all costs. If Scott likes you, you get the benefit of the doubt. If he doesn't, you did it on purpose with malicious intent. Yes.
worse. In the video, we see Ben serve the paperwork to the store's employees. Specifically, one gets served to a young lady named Calendonia, who appeared earlier in the video when Ben tricked her into following him into the woods to, according to him, brainwash her into helping him.
Here's your legal paperwork.
You have been served.
The first lawsuit has officially been served.
Now, aside from suing the wrong company in the lawsuit, it's also not legal to serve store
Slouching
employees.
and cup hands. Okay. Is that what it is? Slouching? Is it the folded hands?
If you were suing a business. This is done because employees are not registered agents of a business, and it just wouldn't make any sense to serve them. If I wanted to sue Walmart, I can't just walk into a store and hand the lawsuit papers to the 80-year-old greeter. That just wouldn't make any sense. Ben didn't know this, so he never served the registered agents of the new company, but it wouldn't
Okay, so then it's like Ben didn't know any better. It's not like this guy is a lawyer, right? Like, obviously you should consult a lawyer for all of this stuff, yada yada yada, right? But it's like you're treating it as if he did it maliciously. The way that this is all framed, the way you wrote this makes it sound like he is a malicious liar, but then all of the evidence makes it sound like he just didn't know. Okay, you see my issue with this, right? This is the same thing I talked about with the Riley video, and this comes downstream of a literacy crisis. And this man is old, and he has a literacy crisis issue, okay? But the way that we write things changes how a viewer will interpret the things that we are saying. If we write something in a way that portrays a thing in a certain way, then people will be inclined to believe it that certain way or think it that certain way. These are obvious things that you should know when you write something for an audience.
That mattered anyway, since he was suing the wrong company to begin with. Now, this is the reason why the company never responded to Ben's lawsuit, because they simply didn't need to, since he didn't correctly serve them. Ben eventually called the county clerk, and she looked up that they hadn't responded, and told him he can go ahead with filing for default judgment.
Okay, so I don't see that there's been a response from anybody in the case. Since they didn't respond, you can move forward with a motion for default judgment.
Okay.
Now, the county clerk Ben talked to had no idea what the case was. She just saw they hadn't responded, which is why she told him he could go ahead and do that. However, once Ben filed for default judgment, the judge looked at the case and saw the errors and quickly denied Ben's default judgment claim. I found the form Ben filled out, and you can see it has a red line.
So then it would have just been like Ben was led by people knowledgeable with only portions of the situation, and then it just ended up being something that didn't follow through at all, you know? It doesn't again, like, this is it doesn't matter really, okay? Because the situation is beyond this, and it is such a small footnote in the story that your presentation is like throwing out the entire story. You know, that's the issue. He's Bo Blaxian now with how he sees this. Lol, he's in his 40s and acts like he doesn't understand that context matters with statements. Yeah, this really doesn't matter. Yeah, I know.
it with red letters at the top stating that denied proof of service to someone called Caledonia without any information as to their authority to accept serve on behalf of defendant LLC. Now after that, Ben tried again, and the judge left a comment about the improper filing of Ben trying to serve Caledonia back in February of 2025, which was before the case even existed. At this point, the judge thought this lawsuit was a joke and dismissed.
Does Scott Fuckboy not find it suspicious the store was still closed immediately once Ben started filing lawsuits?
But the point of the video is to have something salacious about Ben in the situation. Okay. Like I don't think it really matters about the greater like contextual state of anything. It's more about the one small nugget that he got wrong. You know, if you make a mountain out of a molehill, maybe you'll get your roses at the end of it, right?
The whole thing on April 7th. If Ben had won any money or a default judgment, that final April 7th entry would explicitly read general judgment default or money award. Instead, the final binding judgment of the court is a dismissal. All of Ben's cases face the same fate, and were all dismissed. Now, I tried to share this on Twitter, but people don't like to hear the truth, and everyone called me a bunch of horrible names. Now,
okay, so let's. I need to sign it. I need to sign out and sign in on an alt.
all of Ben's
Okay. Oh wait, no, I can read his tweets now. Hold on. Well, I'll just look at the video. I don't feel like clicking anywhere else.
Now, I tried to share this on Twitter, but people don't like to hear the truth.
Why did Reckless Ben make the claim that he won a small claims court victory against the Bricks and Minifig store when in reality the cases were dismissed? 2 of the cases, he didn't even file the paperwork correctly, served the wrong people. The judge dismissed those cases. Yeah, this won't win you any friends. Now go get you pay from the corrupted Mormons and police officers and sit down and be quiet and watch reality pass by. It's like this guy made something. You deliberately made an inflammatory point, and then you're bitching about people getting mad at you. What do you mean, dude? You made you even like you're correct. But like you couch it in this like inflammatory way. No shit, everybody went down your throat. Are you fucking stupid? Do you not? This is literally what I just said about how we write things is going to change how people interpret what we say, right? So when I say things a certain way, it is with the intention that you take them a certain way. You know, I don't understand why you don't seem to understand that. This is not that hard to understand. You learned this in high school. I don't.
And everyone called me a bunch of horrible names. Now, the real question is if Ben intentionally lied to his audience to make for a better ending to the video, or if he's just not...
Well, we just don't know. Let's be real. We really just don't know because we can't fucking read his mind, okay? But if I'm hedging my bets here, I would say that there's a larger chance that this is the ignorance of Ben rather than Ben being a malicious actor, okay? I don't really see why Ben would be a malicious actor. Maybe ignorant of a reality of the legal situation. Yes, absolutely, possibly. That seems to be the case from a lot of the videos that we've seen. But as a malicious actor is definitely skeptical in my mind, okay? I don't see it. It doesn't really seem to have many upsides for him, so I don't know.
Hard enough to know all his cases were dismissed. I lean on the side of this being an intentional lie. Ben would have...
You lean on the side of it being an intentional lie? What a fucking surprise. Why would you pick that hill to die on? It is so much easier to just say the other thing.
Undoubtedly gotten the paperwork from the judge telling him the cases were dismissed, and that took place all the way back on April 7th, which was a month and a half before his video went live. Even Ben's own subreddit has discovered all his cases were dismissed, but for some reason they don't seem to think that's a big deal, that the climax of the video was made up. Now, when Ben went to the...
Because it's not a big deal. We're beyond this. We are so beyond this. We are living in a different world now, okay?
Store to collect his winnings, the store had been closed, and Ben claims this was because they didn't want to have to pay him his money. The real reason they closed was because of constant harassment by Ben and his friends. What was the reason behind...
This is not helping. This is not helping. Oh. So the reason the store closed is because of Ben's harassment.
Your store closing this month. His harassment and vandalism. Yeah.
Okay. So on your own accord, you guys.
Yeah, he just, yeah, I would not believe the corrupt police department and bigwig Mormons personally, but.
So Ben's whole climatic ending about winning the case and going to the store to make them pay.
What? You mean that this guy might have lied to the police? You mean that fucking bald Mormon might have lied to the police to portray himself as in a specific way? What I don't understand. Why is Ben under the hot seat for being the complete duplicitous actor here? It could very easily be drawn towards the Mormons.
Seems like it was made up strictly to get a bunch of views. Now, aside from the made-up lawsuit win, I also want to talk about the many times that Ben openly commits crimes in the video and tells his audience that he discovered some sort of loophole that makes what he's doing legal and a 4D chess move, when in reality it's not. The best example of that takes place around the 1 hour mark of the video.
Baba Booey. Remember that episode of Always Sunny where Frank saves Mac from the piano? Scott is Frank except he hasn't saved anyone and doesn't understand why people are mad about him using the F slur at Ben.
Ben had been told by the store that he was not allowed on premise and would be arrested if he came back. But then, Ben reveals his secret 4D chess move. He had secretly gotten the store manager, Amanda, to sign a contract that prevents him from being kicked out of the store or being arrested.
I made a contract with Amanda that says I, Ben Schneider, should not be trespassed in all of these legal words for any circumstance whatsoever and for literally any reason. They cannot trespass me. But this only really works as a get out of jail free card if I can get Amanda to sign it.
Hi, sorry, I got delivery. Can I get a signature?
For some reason, Amanda just started signing our contract without even reading it.
Thank you. Now, this is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen on YouTube. It's a Looney Tunes level of stupidity. If you had told me there was an episode where the Wile E. Coyote tried to trick the Roadrunner this way, I would believe you, but in real life, that's not how it works at all. Ben claims that in the US we have a duty to read a contract law, and since she didn't read it, the contract is valid.
In America, we have a duty to read contracts law, which states that you have to read a contract before you sign it, and if you forget to read it or you just choose not to read it, it's your fault and you still have to do everything the contract says.
Ben is 100% incorrect, and is showing the perfect example of the Dunning-Kruger effect, which is a cognitive bias.
Oh, this one is up here. This one is up there with like a YouTube video essay that opens up with a Wikipedia article explainer of a word. All right. This is like up there with a guy who reads the dictionary definition of blah, 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 blah. You fucking hack. Did anyone take this part seriously? Oh. God damn. Yeah, the contract would be void, but it's a good bit. The fucking, yeah. Yeah, this is like taking the brainwashing part 100% seriously. Guys, do you guys know what the Dunning-Kruger effect is? The Dunning-Kruger effect is where that you think you're actually smarter than you actually are. You know, you're not an expert like me.
Where people with limited
This is like a high schooler's essay, you know?
knowledge or competence in a specific area greatly overestimate their own skills. Ben Googled a few articles about legally binding contracts and decided he had uncovered some master-level 4D chess move no one had found before. Unfortunately, he was wrong.
See, here's the thing, though. If he were to get trespassed and then he pulled that out, he might get like a temporary like, oh, okay, right? Because people don't want to deal, right? So even if it is completely void and non-useful, a lot of people I could imagine just going, put my hands up, you got me. You know, I can't imagine them like doubling down and going, they'll just be like, okay. That is so fucking funny. Yeah. Oh boy.
If what Ben says is true, then anyone can fake being a delivery driver and walk up to someone's home and have them sign for a package, but in reality, it's a title deed transfer form, and now you own their home. This isn't legal and would never hold up in court. In fact, Ben committed a civil fraud known as fraud in the factum, which completely voids a contract because you tricked someone into signing a document without them realizing it was a contract at all. But criminally, this falls directly under Oregon's forgery laws. If a prosecutor decided to charge him, he is caught on camera committing an open and shut offense. If they charged him with forgery in the second degree, a misdemeanor, he'd face up to a year behind bars, but if they pushed for forgery in the first degree, which is a Class C felony for fabricating a commercial contract with fake financial penalties, he would be facing up to 5 years in state prison. I really am blown away no one is calling out this blatant illegal act he pulled. The only clip clip I found of someone realizing
It's really not even. Are we gonna really sit here and say that this is a big deal? I don't care. Was anybody harmed? Like, seriously, was anybody harmed? Like let's think about this from the court of public opinion's perspective. Nobody got hurt. The store closed. The situation moved on. It was a funny gag. Nobody got hurt. All right? Now, if Ben robbed the store at gunpoint for the Legos, that's a different story.
was illegal was streamer Paymoney Wubby, who immediately called his lawyer, and the lawyer confirmed the streamer's suspicions.
I made a contract that says I, Ben Schneider, should not be trespassed for any circumstance whatsoever.
Well, that's not how that works. So I got her to sign it without knowing, and then I went and committed crimes, but you already signed it.
Can I get a signature?
This is so f***ing illegal. Not illegal? That is literally fraudulent. What do you mean? People in chat are saying that's not illegal. That is super f***ing illegal. Anything you want to share about the video?
The initial impression is...
See, the thing is, though, is like, what Wubby is like pointing out, yes, this is like, Wubby is pointing out something correct, right? Even Scott is pointing out something correct. But when we move on from the initial situation, like, it has changed so dramatically, right? It's like, why would you want to see Ben behind bars? Because the reality of the situation is that there's like a corrupt police department and this corporate entity that is using their religious connections to sway a town to act a certain way. Okay?
that these guys are not doing any service by doing this.
There are a couple of other small crimes he commits, like criminal trespassing. When he entered the store after being told he can't come back, that was trespassing, despite his bogus claim that Amanda had signed the contract that allowed him to be there. This particular punishment wouldn't be excessive, but he could face about 30 days in jail for each trespassing occurrence. Next, there is the criminal mischief that Ben and his team commit in the video. He covers up the sign of their store with signs saying, "We steal from old people." Because his video—
I would love to know from actual attorneys what their thoughts are with this from LawTube. I would love to see what some of them thought. I just don't think, me personally, I think it would be frivolous for like a prosecution to waste their time and energy on this, you know?
Directly documents him measuring the sign, printing custom text to mimic their font, and modifying their store signage without permission. A conviction is an open and shut case. A realistic sentence for this kind of high-profile property manipulation would be 10 to 30 days in jail. Now, those are the crimes he commits in his first video, but he also committed a bunch of inappropriate acts against the company that he will 100% be sued for in civil court as well. One of Ben's plans to piss off the store to give back the Legos was incorporating a business explicitly named—
Guys, Ben was committing crimes against this totally innocent Bricks and Minifigs. Won't somebody think of the shareholder?
"We steal from old people," and slapped the trademark name Bricks and Minifig right under it as their official company slogan. After that, he started selling matching merchandise right outside their store, and Ben again thought he had discovered a 4D chess move that was completely legal.
We're setting up a Bricks and Minifigs We Steal From Old People company booth right outside of their entrance.
If anyone wants to walk into the Bricks and Minifig store, they have to get through me and my merch.
We got some We Steal From People barf bags because honestly what they're doing in this store is so gross, it's probably gonna make all the customers throw up.
Unfortunately, Ben was, again, 100% incorrect. You can't blatantly rip off another company with the intent to deceive customers into thinking they are related or the same brand. If I created an LLC named—
But they're different companies. The company is We Steal From Old People.
"Our burgers are made with human meat," and put the tagline McDonald's underneath like Ben did, do you know what would happen? McDonald's would sue the McShits right out of me. This is blatant trademark infringement.
I'm sorry, I don't care what happened to the very evil corporation. I don't care. I don't care. Do you really want to sit on this and die here? Is this what you want to do? Is die on the hill of this corporation? What are we really doing this? Nobody's sharing any love, okay, from Bricks and Minifigs. To give them no quarter. Corporations should not be able to just abuse the fuck out of society, all right? These corporations have gone on for too long. They're too powerful. They abuse and shitify every aspect of the fucking working man's life, okay? God forbid that a Lego store be held to account, okay? Fucking Jesus Christ. Like, I don't understand. I don't, like, the second a company, like a big corporate entity is being malicious, like, you could be the most annoying little guy ever, but you're still the little guy against the corporation, and there's no changing that. And honestly, it should be no other way, because these companies are just able to go around and slam their fucking corporate dick and ruin people's lives. I don't care.
As well, since Bricks and Minifig is a federally registered trademark. Under the Federal Lanham Act, it is highly illegal to use someone else's registered trademark in commerce if it creates a likelihood of confusion or intentionally tarnishes the brand. It's also blatant defamation as well. Now, some might claim it was just a parody, but it ceases to be protected as a parody the split second it is used.
Shifty Schaefer taking the side of Bricks and Minifigs. Disgusting. Interesting. I bet you want all those Legos for yourself, huh, Shifty Schaefer? Not surprising. We don't like it. I talked with Baron. He doesn't like you, Shifty Schaefer.
To execute a deceptive commercial trade practice that destroys
Ben was trying to get sued.
Revenues through false statements of fact. By setting up a physical retail operation on their property line, intercepting paying customers, handing out barf bags, and broadcasting to the public that this specific physical store directly steals the life savings of the elderly.
It's like, who, I can't imagine being an average person and getting mad at Ben for this, right? Like, obviously, like, oh, maybe the corporate law is different, okay? But, like, who cares about corporations? Maybe that they should eat some fucking crow, okay? Maybe that guy in his fuck-ass mustache should be, like, you know, made fun of. All right? Like, I can't imagine spending so much energy in defense of corpos, all right?
He crossed from free speech into defamation. Finally, at the end of the video, after Ben's false claim about winning the case against the store, he puts up a giant banner that makes the claim that the store lost the court case.
I guess someone driving by happened to take a picture of the sign we put up and posted it on social media. We started going absolutely viral. The entire world has now seen this crime that Bricks and Minifigs has committed.
Again, this would be defamation, since the store did not lose any court cases. If Bricks and Minifigs were to sue...
Yeah, so the company didn't commit a crime, as far as we know, because this all has to be deliberated in court. In the same way that Ben also needs his time in court to either prove his innocence or not, right? But you have done this video in a way that presents it as Ben did commit crimes and is guilty. So why does the company get the grace, but not Ben? You know? Guys, Bricks and Minifigs is suffering from defamation. They haven't committed a crime. It's not like they've been found guilty. Reckless Ben has committed a crime. Do we understand the double standard of which Scott has walked us all into, right? I'm sorry. I'm never going to care what the corporation has to think, all right? These guys are multimillionaires. I don't care what the multimillionaire owners of a fucking Mormon Lego fucking scheme. I don't care about them. I think they're evil. I think Mormons are bad.
Ben for defamation for all of this, it's going to be an open and shut case for them after Ben has gotten so much wrong. I'm sure a lot of people will dislike this video since they just want to see Ben as a great guy who's trying to get this old man his life savings back.
I gotta be honest, Chad, I have literally zero opinion on Ben. I think the videos are funny. I think the videos are interesting, but I don't know if Ben's a great guy. Ben could be a fucking secret goose-stepping Nazi for all I know. All right? I don't know. But, like, the reality of this, like you're just choosing not to believe where the court of public opinion is. And it's almost like you're courting people to be annoyed at you. I don't understand why you're annoyed that people are annoyed with you. You knew exactly what you were doing, so why are you trying to act otherwise about it?
It seems clear to me that Ben doesn't care about the truth and really will do and say anything to get a viral video. His severe lack of understanding of law...
Okay. All right. Let's be honest here. Glass houses. Glass houses. All right, man? Glass fucking houses.
Undoubtedly get him some amount of jail time, and all of this could have been avoided if he had just consulted a lawyer before making these unhinged videos.
Get a lawyer.
I'm down. But my theory has always been if I do something so just like weird and like messed up that something like a lawyer would never recommend. The other side will never see it coming. If they never see it coming, they won't know how to respond. If they can't respond, then now I'm on top. And
You're the lawyer.
Yeah.
Once all the dust settles, I think it's going to be clear to Ben it wasn't worth it. If his video had been made with accurate information...
I feel like the point of this... Obviously, this video has gone viral. It has a lot of aspects to it that have made it gone viral. But in the same breath, could it not be that, like, Ben has, like, morals that dictate his actions? It's not like every huge YouTuber is a sociopathic Mr. Beast trying to maximize gains, okay? There is the possibility that he is a person with beliefs, and those beliefs dictate the videos that he makes. You know that we have, like, opinions, right? And that those opinions, like, influence our writing, just like your opinions have influenced your writing, which led to you making this video. It's like these things coalesce to make a piece, a video, a film that people view in its totality that is a combination of those created things.
And no laws broken, he could have helped the family and not ended up facing multiple years behind bars and most likely crippling debt after Bricks and Minifig easily ruins him in civil court.
So I don't understand why we need it's a fucking corporation. Are we really, what is this? What is this? Oh yeah, well, you know, man, the corporations always win. Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. Fuck you. What do you fucking work for, fucking Umbrella Corporation? You fucking stooge? You fucking corpo?
If you would like to help the family that lost their savings, I'll have a link below to the GoFundMe so you can do that. Let me know what you think about this whole story in the comments as well.
Like, I don't... Like, oh, well, Bricks and Minifigs will walk away a winner from this. Look, man, who the fuck wants to sit here and say that, like, the corporation who's been a massive piece of shit gets to walk away, like, scot-free from this? Clearly they're not scot-free. Goddamn, maybe you are on the take. Holy shit. Yeah, to be fair, Ben is quite busy at the moment. Outrageous.
Earlier today,
Okay, he made another video. This is his
Reckless Ben uploaded a video to his second channel, Ben Schneider, titled Answering Your Questions, where he talks about the biggest questions people have about the case.
Also, on another note, this guy is mentioning all these crimes Ben committed and the jail time he'd get, but notably the police department did not put warrants on Ben for any of it. Yeah, even when they wanted Ben jailed. Yeah, that's true.
I'll have a link below to the full video if you want to watch it, but around the 4-minute mark, he gets to the main point of my video, where I talked about how he never won any lawsuits against the store by default, like he claimed in the video, and that all his cases were dismissed by the judge. In my first video, I even offered a $1,000 reward to prove me wrong, and not a single person was able to do so.
This guy is such a fucking crank. I just, it's like, you're like, I'm gonna put this out, I'm gonna be so smug about it.
Ben admits I was right about it, but let's break down exactly how he got it wrong piece by piece. First, I said that Ben sued the wrong LLC. He sued the LLC of a former owner of the store that had gone out of business in 2018, named L2 Bricks LLC. The company that he needed to sue was Salem Baker Bricks, which was the corporation set up by Brandon Best. Let's watch Reckless Ben admit that I was right.
A lot of people on the internet
So yeah, this is Goofy. He's just ignoring videos 2 and 3.
went out and started looking up the court records, and they saw that I sued a company called L2 Bricks LLC when the company I should have sued was Baker Bricks LLC. There was no LLC for this.
I'm sorry. I knew, dude, it's very quick how the bell came to toll for Riley. How in God's name has the bell not come for Scott? Is it because Scott is, like, very unattractive and uncharming? Is that why? Is that why nobody's, like, nobody cares enough about Scott to come for him? Is that why? Is that why he hasn't overplayed his hand? Because Scott overplays his hand very frequently. I'm waiting for that day to come. All right, I am. I can't wait. I wanna have another one to be like, I called it. I'm waiting. I called it with Riley.
address. I mean, there was like Bricks L2 LLC that ended in 2024 when corporate took over the store, but then they didn't add a new LLC after that. And I was like, what the heck? So I called the court and the court told me, oh, I guess there's no LLC for this company. If that's the case, then you just do the previous LLC and the whole court thing will still work.
Unfortunately for Ben, he did a poor job of investigating what was the correct business entity that was actually at that location. The Bricks and Minifig location in question actually has 2 addresses because it expanded some years ago. The front entrance and the side entrance is another address. That's the one we see later in his first video when he is outside the side entrance trying to sell his We Steal From Old People merch. That location is where Brandon Best set up his corporation that owned that Bricks and Minifigs known as Salem Baker Bricks. In Ben's video, he admits that all his cases were dismissed, and then Crystal, the former owner of the store, explains to him about the second address for the store and why he was wrong.
A couple weeks later, I get a notice in the mail that says that my court case has been dismissed. And I'm like, what the heck? I got a call with Crystal. So it said at the River Road address, I put in the address and said L2 Bricks LLC was an LLC there, but it ended in like...
That would have been the LLC from Matt Bauman, who was
Yeah,
the
that
previous
guy- yeah,
franchise owner. Because the store itself is associated with 2 different addresses. Because it's 2 different buildings that they cut down the wall in between and put 2 buildings together.
Ben also displays some incorrect information in this response as well. The L2 Bricks LLC...
Yeah, does he not know this was already talked about at length?
...that he claims closed in 2024 actually shut down all the way back in 2018, and a simple Oregon business search would have shown him this information. If he would have done that earlier, there would have been 0 chance that he would have confused an LLC that shut down 8 years ago as the company that was owned by Brandon and Joshua. Ben also tries to play it off...
If Ben researched better, if Ben did, yeah, woulda, coulda, shoulda, man. It's in the past. We gotta move forward with the future, brother. God damn. We could talk about these things that Ben did wrong, but like, let's get to the end of this story, and then we can start to pick it to pieces. All right? There's much bigger fish to fry than Benjamin Reckless Ben Schneider.
...off like Brandon and Joshua outsmarted him and the court system, but this simply isn't true. Once Ben filed for default judgment, the judge did a simple record search and saw that this case had served the wrong people and dismissed the case. I showed that record with the note from the judge in my first video. Later in the video, Ben tries to play this off as no big deal, and that Bricks and Minifig used some crazy loophole.
Guys, you gotta understand that Scott Schaefer went to reddit.com and he got this information, okay?
...the lawsuit, but that...
Dude, Scott Schaefer suffers from, like, a chronic case of midwit. Okay.
That's not true at all. They were never in a lawsuit with Ben to begin with. Now, again, I don't know if this is manipulation or stupidity, but for Ben to...
But the entire presentation of this video and the prior video is that it is manipulation, okay? Like you don't... Here's the thing that I said with Riley, and this is a thing that I don't understand why these fucking idiots don't ever think of this, okay? You don't need to say the thing to say the thing. Okay, I don't need to say that something is okay. What's the? Well, I'm trying to think of an example in my head right now. Right. If I make a video on Elon Musk, right, but Elon Musk knows about me, and if I make a video about Elon Musk, he'll like sue me. Right? If I make a video on Elon Musk, I will word things in a way where I don't directly say that I think Elon Musk has killed people and touches little girls. I will word it in a way where it's like, no, see that one wouldn't even work too, because it would just be too obvious. I've done it before. I know I have. Right? But it's like one of those things, like, you know it when you see it, right? But you don't need to say the thing to say the thing, right? I don't need to call I'm Alex. Here's one. I don't need to call I'm Alex a domestic abuser to prove to the audience that I think he's a domestic abuser, right? If I say I'm Alex, you know, as an alleged domestic abuser, and then just play the clips of him committing what many people would consider domestic abuse, I don't even need to say the words domestic abuser. I could word it in a way where ultimately at the end of the day, you're going to come away with the perception that I'm Alex is a domestic abuser. You know? Casey Anthony. Yeah. I don't need to say that I think Casey Anthony killed her kids. But if I present the story about Casey Anthony in a way where the only place she could be is where she killed her kids, then you will walk away with the perception that Casey Anthony killed her kids. There we go. That's another example. There you go. Gilla, that was a good one.
try and spin it as them getting out of the lawsuit when he never actually correctly sued them is one.
But like you don't always need to directly say something to say something is what I'm saying. Okay, we can infer from context clues, right? And we for some reason YouTubers think that it's an immediate gotcha or get out of jail free card if I don't directly say it. Oh yeah, it was a kid. It was a kid. Sorry, it's been a while. It was one daughter. All right, it was over a decade ago. God.
100% untrue.
I guess it just like fooled the court system, I guess, and it also fooled me. So they outsmarted me, I guess, is what it was. Bricks and Minifigs used some crazy loophole, and they outsmarted.
Like the only thing that not directly saying it does for anybody is gives you this like really like coy get out of jail free card when people try to take you to task, right? Because Riley did this, right? Where it was just like Riley said something inflammatory with no evidence, and then when I said, why are you saying that? That's ridiculous. You're saying this. She was able to sit there and go, well, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. And it's like, okay, yeah, you didn't literally say those words, but it was implied via the context clues and presentation of what you gave.
Me, they found a way to get out of my lawsuit, but it doesn't matter.
So Ben has never won any lawsuit against Bricks and Minifigs by default. That entire climax to the end of his first video is entirely made up and a masterclass in manipulation.
Is it manipulation, or did he not know at the time when he made that video and then corrected the record later? I don't understand. If somebody is responsible and corrects the record later, they're still manipulative? That doesn't make sense. Why would that be the case? If I was manipulative, I would just continue to lie. Why would I immediately cave and correct the record? If I'm correcting the record, I'm probably operating under my best faith intentions with the public. If I am not correcting the record, there's a good chance that maybe I have something to hide. I think that is a very good standard to have.
The store never shut down because they were scared of having to pay the default judgment to Ben. They shut down because of the constant harassment from Bren's actions against the store. After he claimed he won the case,
I don't understand. Are you an investor in Bricks and Minifigs? What is this?
Sign showing the store lost a case against them, which went viral and ruined their reputation even further.
I guess someone driving by happened to take a picture of the sign we put up and posted it on social media. And pretty much immediately, we started going absolutely viral. The entire world has now seen this crime that Bricks and Minifigs has committed.
I really am blown away how much this story has turned into a brain-dead lynch mob online. My first video has...
Okay. Ben is wrong. Master manipulation. Scott Schaefer peak midwit. So now we're lynching Bricks and Minifigs. What? We're lynching the mom and pop business Bricks and Minifigs? Is that? Come on. This isn't even like petite bourgeoisie. Okay, that's not what this is.
Thousands of comments saying I'm wrong and saying things like lawyer.
Oh, you're being lynched. My bad. You're the one on the hot seat. God damn, they're gonna tar and feather Scott.
Channels like Leonard French have already confirmed Ben won all of the cases by default.
10 judgments, $100,000 in face value, filed and served lawfully, defendant didn't appear, defaults entered. And the day after the default judgments were filed, Bricks and Minifigs permanently closed the Kaiser store. That sequence is the most damning fact in this entire dispute. A defendant who declines to appear in 10 separate actions and who closes the business the day after the default judgment enters is a defendant who chose the procedural posture they ended up in. They were not victims of legal sophistry. They had the opportunity to litigate the conversion claim on the merits in front of a judge in a forum with limited discovery and modest stakes. And they chose not to.
Turns out the lawyer was wrong and I was correct. 99%.
So here's the thing, is like that entire clip I heard from Leonard French. Now, I don't know the context of that video because it's a single clip. But to me, listening to that, it sounded like Leonard French was talking about like the generalities of what default judgment and the possibility of those things happening and leading to that moment entail, rather than talking about the specifics of the case. However, I don't know because it's simply a clip. So Scott could be presenting it in a way that is duplicitous, or he could be completely presenting it correctly. But I don't know, and I also don't trust Scott, which presents it as less than reasonable.
of people who are making videos about this story have done no actual research of their own and are simply parroting what others have said about the case. If you actually take time to look deeply into Ben's videos, they are
right. Like I don't know. Like I don't know what Leonard French said, right, in its totality. So I don't know about the context that surrounds that statement about how default judgment and summary work, right? Because it sounded like he was speaking very generally. I don't know if he was speaking about it in specific relation to this case or just how it works. But the way that the clip sounded like it could be either or.
Very blatant errors. Just recently, a new one was uncovered from his second video with the police. Ben claims he was stopped and his car was searched for 2 hours for drugs, but it turns out that the body cam footage shows that the car was only searched for 26 minutes. Why lie about an additional hour and a half of the police searching your car that never happened?
Wait a second. Didn't more body cam footage come out after? Wasn't there like this whole big thing about like a bunch of the body cam footage not being released when it should have? What? Isn't there like a full unredacted? That's like really easily checked, right?
Vehicle will be searched. Yeah, I'm gonna have you stick by my sergeant.
Yeah, he took the redacted on face value, dude. This guy, I'm beginning to think. Yeah, it's still illegal 26 minutes. Yeah, illegal 2 hours, illegal 26 minutes. It doesn't matter. The police infringed on somebody's rights. Fucking cop bootlicker, too.
2 hours of searching the...
Quick, Scott Schaefer, I need you to say Black Lives Matter right now. Say Black Lives Matter. Come on, Scott. Say it. Say it. If you don't say it, we all know what you mean.
car. Obviously, they found no drugs.
The longer Ben's videos are out there, more and more inconsistencies will eventually be uncovered. It's clear to me that this entire series was...
I don't think that's going to happen, Scott.
...manipulative from the start as to how things have been framed by Ben. He should have never made this response video and admitted that he was wrong about him not winning the cases by default. This is now more evidence for Bricks and Minifig, who have now sued him. They have an open and shut case now. Ben claims in his video that has millions of views that he won 10 cases against Bricks and Minifigs because they never responded to his cases, and now has admitted that is all untrue.
Yes, since Bricks and Minifigs didn't respond, looks like we win by default.
Congratulations, you won the court case.
Wait, what? They really thought it was me.
Yeah.
We did it.
He'll burst into white flames.
Crazy, no way.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I think now it's time to go all the way back to Bricks and Minifigs and collect our money.
I understand that people want to see Ben as some sort of Robin Hood doing good deeds, but it's become very clear that his entire narrative has been incredibly manipulative from the start.
I am so curious to see the comments on this video. Oh my god. Okay, so Ben isn't the sharpest knife in the drawer, but this doesn't change the fact that Bricks and Minifigs and their cohorts are scumbags. So he sued a shell company because Bricks and Minifigs uses them to avoid accountability. Does that somehow make Bricks and Minifigs innocent from stealing $200K worth of Legos from an old man? The cops shouldn't have searched the vehicle for the drugs in the first place. Boycotting the Minifigs company is the only thing I'll remember from this. Yeah, if actually was a person. What concerns me the most is the police corruption on the video. That is widespread across the country, which is true. That guy will be dealing with criminal charges for the next 3 years. Some of them justified, which, who knows? There is a possibility that Ben could end up in jail. Absolutely. Can we agree he went about it the wrong way, and he definitely broke some laws, while also uncovering so much corruption and lies from the owners of BAM that the whole damn police department, vandalism and trespassing charges do not compare to the shit he dealt with. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not gonna lie, we have bigger fish to fry than Reckless Ben being reckless. Haven't seen hate like this since the established titles days. I think it is justified, personally. Oh, that is funny. The thing is, the issue is that Scott is very picky and choosy with all of his information, because he's like, Legal Eagle put out a video confirming I was right about Ben never winning any cases. It's like, yeah, dude, you're like hanging on to your 1W here. All right, take a win gracefully. God, you're such a sore winner, you fucking queen. That's right, I called you a queen. fucking funny, dude. That's fucking funny. Let's see. Hold on. I got some more.
Over the last couple.
So I think, is this guy an attorney? I think he is. Found real constitutional violations in American Fork. And every time qualified immunity protect. That's ultimately. Yeah. To be clear, qualified immunity protecting officers when they very clearly do something that is absolutely wrong, infringing on somebody's rights or committing a crime is a humongous issue. All right. Absolute immunity should really probably not exist. I don't know what you replace it with. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not the congressperson that needs to figure this out. But absolute immunity is clearly an issue, and police definitely abuse that privilege in order to basically act as a gang. Like, that is very clearly what is happening with American Fork. It is definitely happening with other police departments. They're infringing on your rights. All right. Humongous. That is ridiculous, dude. I love Scott. What a queen. What a queen. Qualified immunity needs better qualifiers. Yes. Oh boy. Making no friends, Scott. Making no friends. American Fork. So explaining police to an American. So imagine a fork. It isn't the immunity itself that's the issue. It's clearly established doctrine that requires previous case with similar facts that have happened previously to sue. It's very rare. It is very rare. What was it? The police had a noise complaint called on a lady when the Knicks won, and then they shot her fucking dog. So, you know, what's gonna happen? Nothing. You know how many times, like, if you have like a run-in with the police, you go talk to an attorney, and they're like, "What can I do about it?" The attorney's gonna go, "Nothing." The civil rights lawyer has videos focusing on the police department interactions. Yeah, let me find it. Let me find it. We'll take a gander at a little bit of this. We'll do the part 2. We'll start with the part 1. Why not?
What? Hold on. Again? For what?
Did you run a stop sign?
I mean, it's up to you to see. I played the dash cam footage in the video. So from my
It did look like he ran a stop sign, man. I don't know.
point of view, it looks like we stopped for at least like 2
It
seconds.
looks like they looks like they rolled over the stop line.
Every law.
How's it going?
How's it going? I'm Officer Hawkins, American Fork Police Department. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. What's your name? Are you Ben?
Hundreds or maybe thousands of you have reached out to me about covering the Reckless Ben Lego videos. Basically, he's a YouTuber who made a video about a stolen Lego collection that ended with a bunch of crazy police interactions in this small town in Utah where the American Fork Police Department did some pretty wild things.
Search warrant. Step outside, everybody. No, don't move.
This is the story of how I got swatted, all because of Legos. The whole thing started with me investigating a Lego company called Bricks and Minifigs.
Apparently while shielding the Lego company from accountability or even criticism. A lot of you were also telling Ben that he needed to reach out to me, so he did.
The second video is especially interesting.
Immediately was intrigued and I wanted to help him. But before I could do that, I had to understand the facts, everything that happened. I needed to talk to Ben himself. I needed to interview him and get it straight from him and not just his YouTube videos.
The way you know we have First Amendment freedom of speech is I can say something you don't like and I'm allowed to do that. So
yeah, that Are You Ben is some small town horror movie shit. Absolutely.
the police officer is arguing exactly against that statement.
Give me the background on how you first found out about this Lego situation and how you got interested in it.
At the end of my last video,
Oh my gosh. Okay, I think we're gonna skip ahead a little bit.
make up some reason to take over the store so they could have access to the Star Wars Lego set. And obviously that's me like speculating, but I haven't heard of a better reason of why corporate could have taken over the store, because they were saying it's because she's breaking the rules doing these consignments and stuff, but it says in the contract consignments are allowed, so it seems like they're just making something up in order to take over the store. They now claim ownership. They claim that the Star Wars Lego sets are their inventory now, and so Brian goes back and is like, hey, can I have these sets? And that's when the guy crosses his arms. He's like, we're going to drag this out. Like, if you want to sue us, that's the only way you're going to get these sets back, but if you do sue us, we're going to drag it out where it's worth way more money than what your collection's worth. Like, you might as well just forget about these and just let us keep it. It'll be much easier for you if you do that.
We're going to drag this thing out so long, and you're going to end up spending so much more money than your collection is ever worth or what you ever would have gotten out of it, that it ain't worth it, man.
Brian was like, what the heck do I do now? You know, and he couldn't go on the news because his dad watches the news. And so he's like, I'm going to go to YouTubers. So I think he went to another YouTube channel and they started it, but then they got hit with lawsuits.
They were threatening legal action against us. You know, Bricks and Minifig, which is a pretty big company who probably has way more resources than we can, you know, really put up a fight against.
I get sued every single series I do. There was one series where I infiltrated a cult and they were like, well, I guess God is going to like punish him. We don't have to sue him. They don't like believe in the government and stuff. So that was the only time I haven't been sued. But I guess Brian saw that I get through all these lawsuits magically somehow. So he was like, I think Ben's the one for the job. And I was like, I'm the one for the job. And then ended up taking it on.
What did you end up doing that brought you into some interaction with the police?
I walked in and I said, hey, I think my friend said that he has some Legos in your store, but he just is having trouble picking them up. He was wondering if I could pick them up for him. And she's like, whose sets are these? I'm like, I think Brian Mansell.
I want to hear his, like, the attorney's thoughts, less so that I want to hear this interview. Like, I already know. Like, I don't want to hear everything again. Is this one of those things where I can skip to the second video and I'll be fine, chat? Because I'm like, I don't have the time, brother. I'm doing it anyway.
What's up, my man? Let's go. Good, how are you? Good.
Oh, cool. The fucking police interaction in the car. All right. Here we go.
The delivery package, all that.
Basically, if Josh wants to save the day, I got him a trophy that says Joshua Johnson saved the day. And we'll give him this trophy, but he has to get the Legos back first.
Basically, all that game planning was done at the Airbnb, like right after he landed in Utah.
The first time that you guys came in contact with the American Fork Police Department, that was on March 8th. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What had you guys been doing that day prior to you getting pulled over?
Earlier that morning, he had me deliver like a package.
The UPS package?
Yeah, the UPS package with the rubber chickens in it. We had him sign like a contract. It's like a joke contract because a lot of his stuff is satire. So it's like, oh, you signed this and you break the contract and you have to like do the chicken dance or something like that. You know, it's like, it's obviously like just satire, it's just like as a joke. We all knew like the contract isn't like actually like a legal contract or anything.
So as I'm investigating what actually happened, this whole thing continues to blow up even more on the internet. Everyone's talking about it. Opinions are flying. So as I'm getting ready to interview Tyler, I'm trying to get the actual raw body cam video from any source so that I could break it down properly and accurately. I've got my paralegal preparing a FOIA request to go to Utah and we're just public, but there's a lot of it and I've been busy going through.
And there goes my fucking connection. Dude, it's Big Mormon. Big Mormon's after me. Big Mormon. Dude, Scott called in the Mormon super soldiers and is trying to kill me, dude. Oh no, fuck. It should be fine. It should be back. Should be back. I have connection. I have connection. Yeah, the ISP heard legal and freaked out. Dude, they're like, he's getting a lawyer. It's over. It's over. We're going to kill him. Fuck, my back. Oh, shit.
Through it, and I've already seen some egregious things that you really need to see. But it's important to go chronologically through it if we want to fully understand what happened. Taking it step by step, comparing different officers' body cams, we can now see exactly how this went down and why it happened the way it did. Everything can be traced back to a kid showing up on Josh Johnson's porch on March 8th, 2026, wearing a fake UPS hat, delivering a package of rubber ducks.
An American Fork resident.
At Not Not Sarai became a member. At Not Not Sarai celebrates 26 months of membership. I cast a spell to ward off the Mormon magics.
That's crazy, dude. The Mormon magic is wild. You gotta be careful.
Joshua Johnson requested phone contact from the American Fork Police Department. Officer Tonga with the American Fork Police Department, contact Mr. Johnson by phone.
Officer Tonga with the American Fork Police Department. Is this Joshua?
Yeah, this is he.
How can I help you today?
So this kid showed up at my door, my partner's door, my business partner. He had like a fake UPS hat on. He obviously didn't work for UPS. And he hands me this package. He's like, oh yeah, sign it. I'm looking at it, I'm like, looking at him, and he's got like a taped UPS thing on his hat. I'm like, you work for UPS? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I couldn't figure it out at the time. So then I did a little squiggly line on his phone. And so he delivered, I know it sounds inconsequential, you know, it doesn't sound significant, but we own a store, or we owned a store in Oregon. And long story short, the lady we got it from pissed this guy off. You don't want to hear the whole story. But he wants us to pay for her contract, which I never signed a contract with the guy. So he's got a YouTube guy coming after us. His name's Reckless Ben. And so this kid was likely a follower of Reckless Ben, and they're just trying to see where we live. I just want to document that I don't know. I don't have video, but my partner has video of
Actually, Ben's friend Tyler, I know because he told me when I talked to him.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, sick. Yeah, I can.
The guy who shows up with the fake UPS hat on, delivers the rubber ducks, that was you.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And so you actually had a conversation with Josh Johnson?
I did, kind of. I just said, hey, I got a package for you. I just need a signature here. And then he was like, okay. And then he just signed it. And then I went about my day. But that was like the only interaction I ever had with Joshua Johnson.
And so how do you guys end up getting pulled over?
We ended up leaving for a bit. Ben did his own thing. And then we came back. And when we came back, Ben was going to have a conversation with Joshua Johnson. But Joshua Johnson was like right outside, like on the phone screaming at somebody. And we couldn't tell what was going on, but we decided to just sit there and wait for Joshua Johnson to get off the phone.
Just a few more questions with the delivery driver.
No, because he was on the phone with the police. I did not connect that in my brain. Not gonna lie. All right, so the call happens. Yada 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 yada.
We hung a sign on the building saying we sued them and they lost, which isn't true. We just closed because we don't want to fight these people anymore. It's not a profitable business because of all this, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's hired this Reckless Ben, this crazy YouTube guy, to come and harass us. And he walked into corporate, and Ammon, the CEO, kicked him out. And he's gone into the stores, and now he's showing up at my house. It wasn't Reckless Ben that showed up today, but it was a kid, you know?
Yeah.
I really want to see the, like, basically where they stop the car and then just start, like, running it for, fucking all of that. But it doesn't seem like they do that here.
But I genuinely would just leave it. So, any other questions for me?
You can't do anything to help then, as far as this goes?
It's all civil.
Okay.
So it's all civil, all has to be handled in court. I can't force him to give money, that's not my job. I'm all criminal end.
Right,
and
but property theft of over 100,000 is a criminal offense.
all happened in Oregon.
It all happened in Oregon.
They're going to arrest him soon for that, but that doesn't get us paid back for money, you know, it's like, they just get arrested. Information from the other individual.
You have ID information and stuff?
ID information, so, okay, sweet. Have a good one, guys.
Are
we good? Yeah.
He basically told Ben that he needs to stop harassing Joshua Johnson. He said, let civil problems remain civil. Ben's like, he's like, we already tried to go the civil way. How do we go about this?
Can you hear me? I hear you. I can't see you.
You're like a chipmunk again. Should I log out?
Josh Johnson is actually releasing a video about this. Wait, wait a second. The Lego store owner? The guy?
Yeah, log out and log back in. Unfortunately, not long after my conversation with Tyler began, his connection went bad, and after several failed attempts, we finally took our conversation to FaceTime, where we went over all of the incidents in detail. There's no doubt in my mind that Tyler is a good kid who's never been in trouble with the...
He's a comedian, host of The Daily Show. The comedian. No, that would have been so funny, though. Come on. This old Mormon's getting on. I did not steal the Legos.
Law before, and at no time posed Josh Johnson any threat whatsoever. He's just doing something that people are generally allowed to do. Cops and the courts are constantly telling us that anyone can walk up to someone's door and engage in a knock and talk, knock on someone's door and attempt to have a conversation with the occupants. They call this a consensual encounter. And in fact, it's how cops get around the Fourth Amendment many times to gather evidence without a warrant. As the courts
Interesting, okay.
The Fourth Amendment is not implicated when the police do this because it's consensual. Cops are allowed to do what any member of the public is allowed to do. For instance, Girl Scouts or door-to-door salesmen, or even Mormons for that matter. Knock on a stranger's door and talk to them or ask them to sign something or buy something or do any other...
All right, now I know if there's a police officer at my door, I don't need to answer. Got it.
Number of things. The person inside the house is free to refuse to answer the door, or they refuse to participate in the conversation or the requested activity. They're not being forced to do it, so in theory, it's consensual. And since Girl Scouts and Mormons can do it, then cops are allowed to do it as well, according to the courts. So not only is that sort of activity not illegal, it's actually a central component of how law enforcement investigates criminal allegations across the entire country. So it's sort of weird to me that here, the police latched on to the incident of Tyler showing up with a package of rubber ducks at a Mormon's front door, and this entire police department full of Mormons flies to the scene to investigate these shocking reports of a stranger stranger coming to a Mormon's front door. You would think that in a Mormon community, this would not be the sort of thing that they would want to attempt to criminalize. But that's exactly what happened. Josh Johnson calls the American Fork Police Department after Tyler gave them a box of rubber ducks, and Officer Tonga returns his call. Also alleged by Josh was that he saw people outside his house filming in his general direction. These are not allegations of illegal activity, and these are also not allegations that he or his family were ever threatened with any sort of physical harm in any way. And this is important to keep in mind because within just a few minutes of police being contacted by Josh Johnson, we have our first detention by the police of Tyler and Ben at a traffic stop. The nature and scope of that detention has to be supported by the information that was known by the officers at that time. So here's what happened. Josh is outside in the street and he points out the car that Ben is allegedly in. Then we see a nearby police cruiser then speed off to go pull over Ben's car. That obviously must be Officer Richardson. Officer Tonga then says over the radio, see if you can get a stop on that. He says this over the radio to Richardson as Richardson speeds towards where Ben's car is driving. We then see on Officer Richardson's...
Oh, brother. Man, what a wonderful police department. You don't dislike the police enough. Holy shit.
Dash cam, Tyler's car stopping at a stop sign.
I'm for sure to thumbs up there.
I did way too quick.
What's up, my man?
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good.
My name's Officer Richardson with American Fork Police. The reason I stopped you is the stop sign. You didn't come to complete stop at it.
I didn't?
No.
He's using his blinker and he's very carefully and properly making a right-hand turn. Is there any universe where any reasonable police officer would be concerned with this driving that we see and then be prompted to go perform a traffic stop for the reason of not stopping at a stop sign? No, the stop never would have happened had Officer Tonga not directed Officer Richardson.
Yeah, so it's not even like they stopped him because of the stop sign. So it doesn't even matter about that, right? Because the reality is that they were trying to find any reason for the stop, and they could just say whatever. So they're just saying, "Oh yeah, you ran the stop sign," so that way they could stop him because they want to stop him for completely unrelated means.
To go stop Tyler and Ben's car. At the time that decision was made to stop the car, the alleged traffic violation hadn't even occurred yet. The reason...
Yeah, they were already going to stop the car even before the stop sign happened.
The traffic stop was made was actually admitted over the police officer's unredacted radio.
He's just saying that they were recording, so there's nothing criminal that they were doing. Just get the 28 for it. Should be good.
What does that mean? Well, 1028 under their police code apparently means the check of a vehicle ownership / registration information. So they admitted that nothing criminal was known to have occurred, but that they just wanted to identify who was the registered owner of the vehicle. That's it. Meanwhile, Josh Johnson is basically directing these cops outside his house, telling them what to do, and they appear to be complying, despite the fact that no illegal activity has even been alleged.
That is so fucking crazy when you think about it, right? This random private citizen is directing what the police officers do. Like 100%. And what's really horrifying about that is that they're able to do that because they're Mormons.
Meanwhile, at the traffic stop, Officer Richardson with the American Fork Police Department approaches the car that was being driven by Tyler Shaw with reckless Ben in the rear seat. He approaches Tyler and requests his ID. At this point, he does not request Ben's ID, but he doesn't need to. As Richardson walks back to his cruiser to run Tyler's ID and the vehicle registration, he says over his radio, 1084.
1084 with the new back.
I'm told that 1084 in Utah County Police Code means I have visitors present. Be careful what you say over the radio. Though it also could have just meant that he was confirming Ben's presence in the car to the officers who were still with Josh Johnson. So the footage indicates that Tyler's vehicle was stopped due to Ben being in the car and not the alleged stop sign violation. These codes are by no means uniform throughout the country. At this point, Tyler and Ben are detained, and therefore the Fourth Amendment is implicated, and reasonable suspicion must exist for the detention to be justified. For a lawful traffic stop, an officer needs specific objective facts indicating that a crime or violation has occurred. There must be observable evidence that justifies the stop. No hunches are allowed. No vague feelings, no unsupported intuition. Here,
no hunches, no vague feelings. I feel like police officers really like doing it off of a hunch. You know, I feel like hunches is like a lot of what this. I feel like they post hoc come up with evidence, and a lot more of it is a hunch. I don't know, man.
A stop sign violation, had it occurred, would be sufficient reasonable suspicion for a routine traffic stop. But if it did not occur, which is likely given the video footage here, then some other observable evidence is required. The suspicion that reckless Ben may be in the car is not going to be sufficient unless they have some other independent basis to detain or arrest reckless Ben. The officer who detained Tyler and Ben, Officer Richardson, admittedly did not possess such information. The footage shows that he was just told to stop Tyler's car, and so he stopped Tyler's car.
See if you can get a stop on that.
Dude, this guy is really bad at Roblox parkour. Chill guy 48123. You're bad at this, dude.
He had no information providing any lawful reason to stop the car. He admits this several times to Tyler and Ben during the detention.
Officer Tonga said you're involved in some other incident that he's got to talk to you about.
We don't know what it's about.
Yeah, we don't know what it's about.
Wait, what's the other incident?
We have no idea. He's like around the corner, but he's like, oh, he's gonna come talk with you.
With me?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what's going on. Don't have a clue what's going on.
Therefore, the only possible lawful basis to detain Tyler and Ben would be if Officer Tonga had acquired evidence that some crime or violation occurred to support this order to have that car stopped. This is where you look at information that was given to the officers by the person complaining that sets the events in motion. In this case, it was Josh Johnson. But in other cases, it could just be any Karen calling 911. What's important?
The grace that Scott Schaefer has given the American Fork Police Department is still kind of crazy. I know that he like gave lip service that there's like a corrupt police department, but like, let's be real. The reality of the video is completely different from what Scott said.
Important is the substance of the allegations that were conveyed to the officers, not whether they're actually true. And here's what Josh did allege about Tyler and Ben to the officers: that some unknown kid came up with a package to his door pretending to be a UPS delivery person. Josh speculated that this was directed by Ben, but he didn't yet know that it was Tyler. So even if that was illegal, which apparently they didn't believe it was.
Dude, yeah, Mormons be like, my name is Josh Johnson, Ben Benson, Brian Bryanson,
their conversation.
Smithson.
That wasn't yet tied to Tyler's car. What else did Josh allege? That Ben was outside his home on a public roadway, watching, possibly filming his home as a result of this Lego business dispute in Oregon. However, Ben and Tyler driving around on public roads is not illegal, as the officers admit at multiple points.
You guys obviously aren't getting in trouble today. You're not getting charged or anything like that.
You guys are free to go. Appreciate you guys being cool and cooperative.
It also was not illegal for them to film Josh's home and Josh outside his home, as the officers also admitted. At best, they have the allegation of the two girls getting out of Tyler's car at some point and allegedly going on to Josh's property. But they weren't in the car, and as I've already discussed, without more, that isn't even illegal. In most states, including Utah, trespassing doesn't even become trespassing until people are asked to leave and refuse, or if they enter some sort of obvious restricted area. None of that was alleged here. The real reason for the stop is that the officers wanted to identify the registered owner of the vehicle that Ben was riding in. They admitted this. Unfortunately for them, that's not in and of itself a lawful basis for the detention. And what I believe is a clear violation of Rodriguez versus United States, the officers unlawfully extend the length of this traffic stop to give time for Officer Tonga to arrive at the scene. They do this by making small talk and ask.
Oh, man. Fucking what a violation of Fourth Amendment.
Unrelated questions. Though these officers seem friendly and genuinely interested, this is a common tactic used by police to gather information during traffic stops. Is this legal? Generally, there is no requirement to answer police questions during traffic stops beyond basic identification and related documentation questions. However, officers may still ask unrelated questions, so long as they don't add time to the stop. But the vehicle occupants also have the right to remain silent and decline to answer any questions, though they should verbalize that choice. Here, the officers
Okay.
get Tyler and Ben talking, and everything
makes me think, makes me a more educated person. This is crazy. God, fuck, dude. The American should not be at antagonistic odds with their police, but you are, even if you've done nothing. I've been, this is very unrelated, but so after I do this ISP video, I want to do a video about Flock and talk about ALPRs. And I know that that is so fucking unrelated to me being a drama tuber, but I drive around a lot, right? I drive like 45 minutes to work. And I pass so many Flock cameras. And it bothers, I don't like that. Right? And I know that it's like, oh, well, it stops crime, right? It boggles my mind that Americans complain about like dictatorships having like these camera infrastructures that like fucking track you all the time. But then the second a private corporation does it here, nobody has a fucking problem with it. Obviously people have a problem with it. They don't really have a problem with it where I am, but I have a problem with it. So I think that people need to know that they should have a problem with it. So that's going to be my next bugbear after I'm done with the ISP. Because even in the middle of buttfuck nowhere while I'm driving, I see a Flock camera and I'm like, motherfucker, why are you out here? Okay. And if it was just used to stop crime, that's totally cool. I totally get that. But the issue is that a lot of these police officers abuse this technology so that way they could track exes, okay? Or they could track their wives, or they could like be nosy bitches. Like I'm not, I don't like that. That's a fucking problem. Just because you're a police officer doesn't mean you get to abuse the private surveillance apparatus that is built up, so that way you could like be checking if your wife is cheating on you. Yeah, they started covering the flock cameras in Madison because Flock won't take them down. Yeah, I've heard that in like the Midwest and like Middle America, it's more likely that people have been speaking out against ALPRs. Yeah, I think people just aren't aware. Yeah, I'm good. That's gonna be my next thing. That's my next thing. The thing is that this all requires civic engagement. God. I'm gonna go to bed. I have to get up for work, and my Whoop is telling me that I gotta go to bed. So I'm going to go, so that way I can have some non-screen time reading before bed. Otherwise, I would keep watching this, but I'm trying to be litigious about this in the meantime. I didn't even know they were in use out of select areas. It's actually huge. There's a whole map. You should totally check out the map. It's really big. It's crazy. Anyway, let me get out of here.